Well, welcome back to the ICCR coverage here on the live stream with the Beacon Hospital Health Check. And as you can see, it's the big open single-seaters, the Formula Boss Ireland cars out on track at the moment. Full wet conditions, full wings, full downforce, and softening off all their suspension there over the lunch break here at Mondello Park. And it's Noel Robinson, Northern Ireland visitor, going to start this one on pole position. Tony Greenan alongside, then Aaron Cochran, Michael Roach, Jonathan Files, Daniel Faherty, Michael Connolly, Rob King, Gary Graham, Tom Cochran, Donald Griffin and Eamon Matheson, the order in this one. So this should be very interesting. Jonathan Files was a little bit late out in qualifying this morning and sending up absolute plumes of spray and keeping it pinned the whole length of the straight. There was never a shortage of commitment with Jonathan, but certainly it was very much evident this morning. That's him in the Martini livery car with the dark, with the black helmet on, just going through shot there now. And Jonathan's car is probably old school technology to a certain extent, and wouldn't have the downforce of some of these Formula 3 cars, but certainly in terms of brake horsepower there's no problem, and commitment there's certainly no problem either. So he adds spice and entertainment to these Formula Boss Ireland grids when he's out there. So here they come back towards us now. So these cars do have wet tyres. As we were saying earlier, some of the cars have to compromise. They use the one tyre regardless of some of the classes, but these cars don't. They can run slicks or wet. Files looks like he's sprinting up the inside. I thought he was heading for the pit lane there, but no. Certainly will be worth watching. Well, he's always worth watching, isn't he, Jonathan Files? But I'm not sure how the wet conditions will, how competitive his car will be in those conditions. Let's wait and see. So 55, Noel Robinson lining up on pole position. A little bit ahead of his mark perhaps. Alongside him is going to be number 7, Tony Green, and he's going to have to reverse onto his positions. And it'll be Aaron Cochran, 36. Michael Roach, another hard charger alongside him. And Jonathan Files and Daniel Faherty. Michael Connolly in the Radical. Rob King is not there, is he? Oh, he is. He's just back further for some reason. Donald Griffin going to start from the pit lane. We can see on the right-hand side. 5-second board is up. Watch the lights on the M-Town bridge at the top of your screen. There they are. Red lights are on. We go when they go out. Who's it going to be? Robinson or Greenan on the front row. Aaron Cochran with a great start as he got space. He tries to get up the inside. Roach down the outside of everybody, heading down the outside now. Roach on the brakes, but doesn't quite make it across. I think it's Tony Greenan that takes the lead from the outside the front row. Files just lit up the back wheels and he's actually fallen right back. So a lot of cars joining in from the pit lane there as they head round turn 1. Already throwing up these big rooster tails of spray. Loads of downforce wet weather tyres on. Some very potent Formula 3 motor cars out there. So Noel Robinson having been jumped there by Tony Green, and Greenan leads. Robinson second. Aaron Cochran next up. Then Roach. Then Jonathan Files trying to go around the outside of Michael Connolly. That is in the Radical. Bad start for Files, but I'm sure he'll get by. He has got by already down into the S's there, just out of view on the left hand side. Look at them heading up the hill here. Incredible amounts of water on the track. It's been hammering down with rain all through the lunch break, and it still is out there now. So very, very difficult conditions for all these drivers. There's Rob King in the Digital Motorsports Radical, an ex-Dubai Autodrome left-hand drive car, the Radical SR3 1500 Super Sport. So here they come on the brakes, and look at Robinson now trying to close down Greenan as they go down into 7A. And back on the power through 7B, back up the hill towards Bahrain's Benz. Carrying a lot of speed through there, Robinson, but a good exit for Greenan, keeps him ahead. Big gap back to third place. It's Aaron Cochran, then Roach. First two pretty closely matched though. Just 2 tenths between them in qualifying this morning. Very difficult conditions. You can barely see these cars as they sprint back towards the national circuit through Paddock Corner and up the hill towards Southside Motor Factories for the first time. And Robinson with a look down the inside, doesn't make it on that occasion, but certainly having poking his nose there, making his presence felt as they come out onto the main straight for the end of lap 1. Greenan it is from Robinson. Gap back to Aaron Cochran then in third place. And it's Michael Roach. And then Jonathan sideways. Jonathan Files coming out onto the main straight. Speaking of sideways, the leader gets an armful of opposite lock there as he heads for Campion Corner. Hangs onto it beautifully though, Tony Greenan. These two pushing hard already. 15-minute race. These left three cars do a lot of the winning in this class. There have been some quicker, bigger cars come in lately, but the late model F3 cars, as Keane Carey showed us recently, are very, very potent machines. Both of these guys trying very, very hard in wet conditions. You can see where they're gone by the tire marks they're leaving on the ground when they clear a little bit of water, as opposed to seeing the cars themselves. From that view, all you get to see is spray. Beginning to ease away a little bit, certainly very quick through Lola corner now, and out onto the back straight, and the gap opening there. Robinson tries to close him down on the brakes. Formula Ford 1600, well-known Formula Ford 1600 racer, Noel Robinson has joined these Boss Ireland grids. Back up to Brian's Benz the first time, to the right, back to the left. Just see the water there being carried through the wind in the foreground as they shoot by to the long left-hander. And it does look like Greenan is beginning to inch away just a little bit. Gap was 0.6 when they went across the line. We'll check it again. Probably similar though. Robinson with a good run through the last bit of the international loop and is almost back up to him again. And we know he's late on the brakes here from last time round. In fact, ignore everything I just said. He's right with him again at Southside Motor Factory's corner. Greenan checking the mirrors as he gets on the power, checking them again. And one more time, he leads his head to the right. Go by fastest lap to Noel Robinson that time round. The gap's still at 0.6, only fractionally faster. Aaron Gocklin goes through. He's some 3 seconds off the pace of these guys. Then Roach, and missing Jonathan Files. We'll put Connolly up to 5th place, Michael Connolly. First two already out of turn 3 as Connolly crosses the line beside us here. Here's the two F3 cars coming back towards us. Once again, Robinson tries to close him down on the brakes. Good run through Lola. This time it could be a game on here as we head down the back straight. Certainly Green and under pressure here from Robinson. Gap there just yet, but Robinson thinking of a lunge down the inside of the 7A, moves to the inside and goes in late on the brakes. It looks like he's just sizing him up here, doesn't it? Wondering where he can have a go. Armful of opposite lock there as he stands on the bar, and that allows him away though. Greening certainly gets better traction on the way out of 7A as a result, 7B I should say as a result. Super Rains bends right and then left. Once again, it's easier to follow than it is to lead, but Robinson looking a little bit racy now, beginning to move around in the mirrors of the leader. Really looking quite composed though, he's not getting flustered at all. Almost side by side as they come back towards us. Robinson tries to go later on the brakes. He does go later on the brakes. He gets up the outside. Will he try and switch back to the inside? No, just tucks in behind him, but he's looking for a better run and better traction on the way out. And again, he's right under the back wing as they go by us. Briefly fastest lap for Green and immediately eclipsed by Robinson as they went by. They're down in the 150s now. Big improvement for Aaron Gocklin, down to a 52 from a 54 last time round. Still not matching these guys. Let's see what Roach does when he goes by. Roach down to a 55 from a 58 last time round. So they're all getting a little bit quicker as they get used to these conditions. Files missing after one lap. Goes through, complete another lap. Here come the leaders absolutely together now, and Robinson pulls out a little bit earlier as they head up the hill towards Lola. Is he going to try and go around the outside there? Doesn't quite, almost does, and looking for the drive on the way out, but Greenan's containing him beautifully, and as we said earlier, he's not looking flustered at all. But there's a big lunge down the inside when Robinson almost gets through. Contact to the back wheel of Greenan's car. It was a little bit late and Greenan was closing the door already, but he certainly wants to have a go and he's very confident on the brakes down into 7A and B. Robinson pulls out again here. That's just to show him his nose, I would think. You can't make contact too many times like that in an F3 car. You'll damage your front wing and you need them around here. Again, almost looking all the way around the outside there, but what he's actually trying to do is get a late apex and a better run on the way out. But Greenan gets a good run off there and no issues at all. Roland Doherty looked like he was parked up there. Greenan again, going down the inside, just covering the inside here at the last minute. Robinson has a look at the outside, tucks in under the back wing again. two F3 cars as one coming out of Southside and onto the main straight. Well, this time Greenan's quicker. He's got fastest lap now, 50.408. Just 300s quicker than Robinson behind. Cochran dropping down again. He's into the 51s now, 51.2. He's less than a second off these guys. He was 3 seconds off them early on. So getting into his stride now is Aaron Cochran in the McLaren livery car. Vodafone McLaren replica livery there on that car. And all of a sudden Greenan beginning to perhaps ease away, but let's have a look. We know how strong Robinson is on the brakes. Here he comes again. It's down into 7A and B. He gets a good run up here as well. Here he goes again, gets a better run on the way out. Goes to the right, he'll have to go to the left if he's going to try and make a move. Tries the right again, though on the way up the hill. We can see nothing except spray as they disappear out of our view. Got a couple of cars behind them. They're side by side out of our shot on the left there. The leaders are side by side. Who's it going to be as they come back towards us? No change just yet, but almost was. They've got some back markers to negotiate here. That's Tom Cochran. Does he see them? They're not so sure themselves. Robinson has a look, an opportunistic look around the outside. Definitely the leader was wrong-footed there. Should be able to hang on to it. He does. He's so calm and composed, Greenan, but Robinson this time sits around the outside and does take the lead. That's Tom Cochran just inadvertently balking the leaders there at 7A and B. And now they're down the inside of Eamon Matheson, but the lead has changed. So Noel Robinson now leads. Let's see how much pace he's got here. Looks like he's going to sprint away, but they looked fairly similar in terms of pace before this one. It's so difficult for these guys. Even the guys being lapped, you just can't see anything. You look in the mirrors, all you see is your own spray, and it's very early in the race to be being lapped, so I'm sure those guys didn't know what was happening behind them, but the lead has changed as a result. 55 now leads Noel Robinson. Starts another lap. Greenan trying to stay with him. Next up is Donald Griffin. Robinson's streaking away at the front of this one now. Follows Griffin around Campion corner, pulls out and just drives by him on the way to turn 3. And the outside so quick through the first apex. And then down to the gears for the second one. But I fear the battle might be over in this one. He certainly looks like he's got a lot more pace now as they head back up the hill towards the main arena. Robinson now ahead of Greenan. Dropping back the gap at the start-finish line, 1.654 seconds that time round. Aaron Cochran still in third place, but these two pretty much in a class of their own at the moment. Go right round the outside. We've seen that happen all day. People looking for the grip round the outside. It's working for him, isn't it? Noel Robinson streaking away out front. Who was the last car he lapped? I think it was Donald Griffin. That was 9th place. We had 13 cars in this one, but we're missing Jonathan Files since lap 1. I think this is definitely going to be a fastest lap this time around. He's absolutely driving away now from Tony Greenan. That's Aaron Cochran. I don't think it's too far away. Well, he's certainly balancing that gap now, but it just opened out so much. But Robinson relishing these conditions, looking very, very strong and going nicely. There's the early leader. That's Tony Greenan, the second of the Dallara F3 cars. Gary Graham next on the shopping list for the leader in terms of lapping him. They're going to be lapping quite a lot of cars in this one. That's Gary Graham in the modified Formula Renault. Interesting, plenty of poke in a straight line, and Gary's Renault there. The F3 car had to wait until the braking zone to make that move stick. So Gary Graham showing his car going really nicely. The Benson and Hedges liveried Formula Renault. No shortage of power there in a straight line. But of course, it's wouldn't have the technology, of course, that the F3 cars have with the downforce. But a good budget way of going single-seater racing with Formula Boss Ireland, one of those Renaults. So the order now: Robinson, Greenan, Aaron Cochran, Michael Roach, Michael Connolly, Daniel Faherty, Rob King, Gary Graham, Donald Griffin, Eamon Matheson, Tom Cochran and Roland Doherty. So still some 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go in this one. So we're inside the closing stage of this one. Great to say John Kenny, the RTE broadcaster John Kenny, has joined me in the commentary box, and he'll be joining in for a bit of fun later on. I'm not sure if I can persuade him to do it for the end of this Boss Ireland race, but certainly we'll see what's coming up next, and we'll have a bit of fun with JK. Terrible conditions on the track. And again, I've said it earlier, but you've got to feel for the marshals out there and the starter and people like that. They're getting absolutely soaked. You didn't have a chance to dry out during lunchtime. The rain has just been so heavy all day long. The Fiesta STs will be next up, the coffee to go class. There's Rob King in the Radical. He's been closed down, I think, by Gary Graham just a little bit. That would be for 7th place overall, even though they're down a lap. In fact, Aaron Cochran now fastest lap of the race, and it's closed down. It's lightened up. He's closed down Tony Green, and so we did say he was getting into it, wasn't he? He balanced the gap and was almost matching them. Now he's done the fastest lap of the race. He's done a 47.3 as opposed to a 48.4 from the leader. He's a second a lap quicker than the leader. He's caught the second place man. Purple sector again this time round. He's still fastest on track in the Vodafone livery car, and he gets it out of shape there on the way up the hill. This is great stuff. So Aaron Cochran early on, softly, catchy monkey, taking it nice and easy, but now beginning to open the taps and really going nicely. And having a good look now at Tony Greenan. If he's going to have a go at this one, he won't be able to. Just 57 seconds to go. I was going to say at the leader, but he might get second place here. This is a great drive from Aaron Cochran. Relatively new to us here in Mondello Park in racing, and wiping his visor there is Tony Green, and maybe some vision problems, but he still gets a good run with one hand. Gets a great run out of 7B, and 41 seconds to go. Let's see where the leader is. Now the leader's just coming back to the international circuit now. I don't think we'll probably get another lap to run on this one. This is the battle, second place overall. Aaron Cochran having come from well back, but fastest lap of the race, as we said, for him last time round. 23 seconds to go. The starter is not on the gantry, so we're obviously going to get another lap here. Leader comes down to start his final lap, 55, Noel Robinson, F3 car this time out. And here's the battle for second place at the top of your screen. Greenan again, calm and collected, but let's see if Aaron Cochran can do something on this, the last lap. He's certainly got loads of pace. That last lap showed us that. Closes him in on the brakes again, down through Max's corner, through the right-hander, then Campion corner, newly renamed after John Campion, recently at the Historic Festival. Down through the dip and heading for turn 3 now. Almost beginning to crowd Tony Greenan, but Greenan is very calm, as we said earlier. He doesn't get out of shape, doesn't overheat the mirrors. He doesn't look, he looks composed, but has he got his hand up to the visor again? I think he has. I wonder, has he got some sort of vision problems there? Or has he got something? He looks okay now, gets turned in. Again, Aaron Cochran gets a great run there, using all the track, almost a little bit of curb. Gets the run, but can't do anything with it. Long right-hander Lola for the last time at the ICCR 2022 round 4. Oh, sideways stuff from Cochran, having a real go like Jackie Corcoran was in the Historics. Let's hope he doesn't rotate like Jackie did, but certainly he was moving the car around a lot through Lola corner. Here he comes on the brakes now, down to 7A and B, but Greenan is cool, calm and collected here in second place, and it's probably going to take a mistake from him to allow Cochran to get by. So here they come up to Bahrain's Bends. Greenan has eased away just a little bit there. No traffic to worry about just yet. Leader not that far. Well, he's 7 seconds up the road, isn't he? But they're beginning to battle now, probably slowing each other down just a little bit. A great run from Aaron Cochran, almost gets him alongside. Gets one wheel alongside. We're missing it in the background. That's the leader on the final corner. That's a bit of tarmac. Here they come side by side now. Cochran down the outside on the brakes. We know who's going to win. He's weaving from left to right at the top of your picture. He takes it. Cochran with a switchback, trying to get alongside. I think he's done enough. Side by side across the line. Who's it going to be? I can't separate them. Greenan hangs on just about by 0.027 of a second. What a great final lap there. It looked like that was going to, look at them waving. They're both delighted with that one. I think they might both think they've got second place, but we should probably split it between them. That was absolutely fantastic. Great drive, take nothing away from Noel Robinson to take the win, but Aaron Cochran there just doing that to perfection on the final corner, the famous Mondello switchback. But Greenan carried speed around the outside and was just about able to have the nose ahead when they crossed the line. So the order was Noel Robinson taking the win in the opening Finsdown Castle and Gaswise Formula Boss race. Tony Green in second, Aaron Cochran third, Michael Roach crossing the line in fourth place. It's going to be Daniel Faherty in fifth. A few of the others going across the line, but they're a lap down. So plenty of excitement towards the end of that one. I wasn't expecting that. I thought they were just going to begin to space themselves out a little bit. No such thing. So they're beginning to finish up. We're just going to have a quick replay at that last corner change of place, almost change of place. The last corner challenge, I should say, from Aaron Gauquelin. Here they come towards us now. Just watch to see if you can separate them, because I certainly couldn't. Gauquelin has the run and he's coming up alongside. There you go, across the line. Actually, you could just about see, if I had better vision, that Tony Greenan had hung onto it. If you can see 0.027 of a second. But great coverage there as they came across the line from those guys. There's Michael Connolly coming through now to take 5th place. And Daniel Faraday right with him in 6th. We've just got Roland Doherty, I think, still on track. A few more actually still there, but they're well down. There's Eamon Matheson, a guy that we normally see up far, far closer to the front, but still developing that jade. And Roland Doherty, a man from Adair. He's had problems with that car all day, but a very quick driver. And Tom Gauquelin. Expect Tom to be way further up as well. Some of these guys having a bad day. Maybe it's the first time they've run these cars in wet conditions. We have not had much wet running in Mondello Park this year, if any at all, but it's making up for it today. Really, really tough conditions. So next up is the Coffee to Go Fiesta STs, but while the celebrations are beginning in the Boss Ireland camp, we will take a quick commercial break.
Just announced it, but everybody is talking about this car behind me. It's the Junior Mini Challenge for the ICCR here at Mondello Park. An exciting new saloon car series from 14 to 17-year-old drivers. Lift off, oversteer, bumper to bumper racing. We're going to have it all this year at Mondello Park. It's the new Junior Mini Challenge.
Square left onto loop. Yeah, that's good. Good drive. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Rev it up, rev it up. George, go, go, go. One right, immediately followed by a 5 right. Keep it lit, keep it lit, keep it lit. Come on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Come on, come on, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Every day is a chance to make this world your own. Just watch out for those you share it with. My world, my station, my music.
Well, we're back, and it's the Coffee to Go Championship, the Coffee to Go Fiesta ST Championship, back out for their second race of the weekend. John Kenny, I'm glad to say, joins me here. But if you watched the ad break there and you saw that guy in the passenger seat of the Mondello Rally Thrill Ford Focus going, go on, rev it, go on, drive it on. That was Phil Lawless, and he's on pole position for this race. Flawless, 77. He's going to start this race from pole position. He knows Mondello better than most. He works here during the week. He's one of the hard-working members of the operations team here at Mondello Park. Great driver, always good to watch races. Fiesta Zetec, former champion in that class, bought the ST this year. It's come up and play with the big boys, and it's going very nicely. And as you can see, he's going to be on pole. Young Victor Cullen in the Beacon car alongside him. Then the championship leader, Eddie Peterson. Then the young charger of the class, Max Turley, Mark Turley's son. Then Michael Cullen, who's still trying to close the gap down to Eddie Peterson, the championship. Peterson didn't have a great day yesterday by his lofty standards. His car broke, back axle broke on the opening lap of qualifying, started last, finished fourth. But Cullen took second, Eric Holstein took the win. Holstein is here at the track, but he's not coming out today because he said he raced yesterday purely to sell the car. So if you want to buy a really quick Fiesta ST, still warm from winning yesterday's race, Eric Holstein is the man to talk to. He hasn't been out since 2019. Got the car fully rebuilt, everything brand new, got it sprayed up. It was immaculate in white, no sign writing yesterday, and he won the race strongly. Michael Cullen stayed with him and pressured him all the way through, but towards the end of the race, Holstein began to ease away for a very impressive win. Former show jumper, former ITCC champion, say it's Supercup champion, Abarth champion. I'm devaluing the car by suggesting that it was all him, but certainly if you want a good Fiesta ST, talk to Eric Holstein. Here's Michael Cullen, single headlight on, firing the car around. A lot of them doing that, trying to find where the grip is. Look at Lawless as well. The rain has eased off, John, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, previous race with the boss race as well, when the rain started to abate, so they would have just given us a little bit of a dry line, hopefully. So it's still pretty wet across the track. You can see those kind of rivers and puddles coming up to the final corner in the background there. But yeah, good to see Phil on pole. I've actually done a little bit of racing with Phil, well, hired his cars over the last couple of years, so it's great to see him out in pole. But, and young Victor Cullen alongside. Interesting to see how the father in the background is going to react. As you say, he's chasing the championships himself, and Eddie Peterson, who's right in front of him, is probably what Cullen will be looking at. But young Cullen up the front with the wily old Phil Lawless, who knows this track, of course, so well. This could be a heck of a race, these two, and races within races as well, for not just the lead in this race, but the championship overall too.
Yeah, well, Eddie Peterson's a 5 times Hewison Auto Test champion, very, very talented driver, and he's been the man to beat pretty much all season long. But Cullen has had a resurgence. He's beginning to gel really well with the LOH Motorsport team. A little bit of tweaks here and there to his car. They're winning in strikers, they're winning in STs, but the gap is a little bit big, and the reverse top 6 in this one means that Cullen is starting behind Eddie Peterson. So Cullen has got to get by Eddie Peterson here to keep his championship hopes alive. Make no mistake, that's Peterson in third place in the Peterson's Cars Like New machine. So Eddie Peterson, great man to get a car off the line. The auto testers are always good at that. It's a crucial part of their sport. A racing saloon car, front-wheel drive with a bit of power, can be hard to get off the grid because by their nature, they set the back up pretty stiffly to make them move around. That means there's not much give. You can't light the tyres up when you're moving off the grid, so they've got to be driving away from the grid like driving Miss Daisy, John, to try and get any form of traction. Some of them perhaps will try short shifting to second gear to get off the line, but you can be sure they won't all go off in grid form. Well, maybe just because I've said that they might, but generally in wet conditions, you get somebody who'll make a cracker, and they won't know how from the third or fourth row.
It just reference back to what you said about Eric Holstein. He would have been starting 6th on the grid, having won yesterday. So I think that's really just from I was chatting to him down in the pit area, and that's really what made his mind up, with the fact that he was actually down in 6th place, and he would have been alongside Michael Cullen. So as you say, he's trying to sell the car, and it was in immaculate condition yesterday when he won the race. But I think he didn't really want to get involved in any kind of confrontation in this race in the wet.
It's very funny. He got the work on the car was done. He got a local panel beater to do the work on the car, and then I think Phil Wright, who ran him in his championship winning season, did a bit of work on it. But he had 2 mates who had no motor racing experience running him yesterday, and I went down.
Yeah, I met them
when they were finished up. They were down there with the car, delighted with the trophy and having a beer, and the 2 guys said to me, "This motor racing's all right, isn't it?" And I said, "Yeah, they won't always be this easy, you know." For Eric to come back having not driven since 2019 and to beat all these guys is very impressive stuff, because the standard in this class is very, very high, make no mistake. Couple of real young chargers that have come to note this year: Victor Cullen, Max Turley, young Cian O'Brien, very, very good, and perhaps not as consistent, but sometimes really, really good. Another top auto tester is Christopher Grimes Jr. Now, his dad's in this race as well, but Grimes Jr. in the Churchtown Motor Company car. You can just see him there, just see his car behind Michael Cullen's. Michael Cullen's the second of the Beacon Medical or Beacon Healthcare check cars. Max Turley is hidden behind Victor Cullen on the right. That's him there in the grey and green car on row 2. He's got a bit of clear space ahead of him there, John, if he could get down the left-hand side of Victor Cullen, but Victor's not going to let anybody buy him if he has any choice at all. So we're almost ready to go. Watch for the 5-second board from the man on the gantry. There it is. Red lights will come on just under the M-Town BMW bridge. There they go. It's almost like I'm ordering them to happen. As soon as they go out and out, we're away. Who's it going to be? Victor Cullen with a cracker. He's got ahead, I think, of Phil Lawless as they go away, even before second gear. Let's see what happens down in turn 1. Victor Cullen leads. Eddie Peterson's got by as well. Phil Lawless being swallowed by the pack. Max Turley looking to come down the outside. And I did say watch out for Grimes. He's got by Michael Cullen, Christopher Grimes Jr. and Cullen coming together with, I think that's the Pro Tune car, Keane O'Brien, just giving him an elbow out. And he's doing it now. Cullen down the inside and contact briefly with Grimes. So Cullen nudging all the young guys out of the way. He needs to get up to Peterson, doesn't he, John?
Yeah, that's what he suggested, because there's a championship on the line here. But Phil Lawless, you know him. He'd be seething inside that helmet of his. He's in 4th place now currently, but he'd be seething with that start. Great start from young Cullen, and an even better start from Peterson. He just nudges his way forward and into the lead as well. This is good stuff for the former auto tester.
Victor might be grounded after that. He should have tried to hold him back for another half a lap. I'm sure he did try and hold him back, but Peterson went to the right and then jinked back to the left. And if you try and defend at the last minute, the back end of these can get loose. Phil Lawless having a go at Michael Cullen here. Not going to plan for Michael Cullen just yet. Peterson to be in the lead half a lap in is danger time. Eddie Peterson has been the man to beat for most of this year. As we said, Michael Cullen's been on form for the second half of the year, but he's got to get by everybody else here and catch Peterson. And even in this early stages, that's a big ask, John.
Yeah, 15-minute race this, as we've been doing all afternoon. We had the 15-minute race for the boss in the previous race, and this 15 minutes as well. Peterson just nudged going in through the S's, young Cullen, and took the lead. And it's very slippy down there, isn't it, Leo, between
like
7A and
drive
7B.
cars.
Just on the exit there seems to be a little oil maybe, or a lot of excess water. And the back end of Cullen's car, senior, stepped out there for a moment.
Yeah, same with Victor actually, although maybe O'Hara's have them set up a little bit differently. So there's a sign being given below us here. We'll have a look at that when they go by. But some sort of a pit signal from the officials. So here they come, and Lawless dropping back. That's Keane O'Brien down the inside of Lawless now. And, a bit of contact, and Keane O'Brien's car gets unsettled there on the inside. Lawless just about manages to hang on, but Grimes has got by both of them. Christopher Grimes Jr. going nicely in 5th place there, headlights ablaze. So here they come. Victor Cullen under pressure now from Max Turley. Max trying to get the run on the inside, but Victor's experience has been gathering as the season's gone on. He's been very impressive. Cullen on the inside, Turley on the outside. That's not the first time we've said that, is it, John? At Mondello Park. Rain light, I think, is the sign they're putting up. Number 66, put your rain light on. That's Victor. He's a bit busy at the moment, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a good battle, as you say, between the famous names in Irish motorsport, Cullen and Turley. The younger versions. Eddie Peterson, though, what a good start from him. And the more he has got clear road up ahead of him. Michael Cullen
down the outside now, and Michael
has more to do behind them.
Both. Sorry, John.
That's the battle for 2nd and 3rd, and of course, while they're battling, Leo, up the road goes Peterson,
and up behind them comes Michael Cullen, the Dick Dastardly of Fiesta ST racing. I only say that because that's his picture on WhatsApp. Is a picture of Dick Dastardly. He's quite proud of it. Michael's been racing at Mondello Park since 1984. His first race was in a Fiesta, would you believe, and a Fiesta Supersport belonging to Pat Murphy, father of Greg Murphy, and he finished 4th right on his dad's bumper. So history replaying itself here with Victor and Michael, as Michael and Des did many years ago. Oh, Victor goes around. He got away from Turley as well. He hung on to it well, but just went in a bit too quick. I did say those two cars looked taily in the early stages, but that's cost Victor a couple of places, but he recovered nicely. Armful of opposite lock on the foot to the floor, and it pulled itself back there, John.
Yeah, there was a couple of incidents there. Oh, he's
Turley's
gone
gone
wide
off
as well. Turley's gone off. Can he hold it together? He does very well. Actually, if that was a bit of grass or a bit of gravel, he was gone. But it was just a couple of moments there. Going through the S's, I thought that Max Turley had missed his braking point and he went far too wide, and that allowed Victor Cullen to get ahead of him. But then, of course, Cullen lost it down in Lola Caller, and it's so slippy out there, as we know. And Turley almost lost it there as well. So now it's the battle between 3rd and 4th places, father and son. But Peterson, of course, heading up down the road on his own.
You're right, it's so slippery. Like with these front-wheel drive cars, John, generally they'll get sideways before the apex and the driver puts the power on and pulls them back. The really good guys, you'll barely notice it. These cars are coming out of the corners with opposite lock on, which is unusual. It's obviously very, very greasy, and they still have them set up quite stiff at the front. Now, Michael Cullen closing down on Max Turley, and these two have had a little bit of a love-hate relationship this year. They have swapped paint a couple of times, both very, very quick. Cullen, massively experienced. Max Turley, one of the young chargers in the class. He's running with Murray Motorsport and being tutored this weekend by Dara Denning. Michael Cullen closing him down, though, in the LOH Motorsport car. Different lines as they look for grip in the braking zone there. Then it's Victor Cullen, then it's Christopher Grimes Jr., then it's Phil Lawless, and then Keane O'Brien still trying to get by Phil Lawless in the Pro Tune car.
Phil started on pole, but he's down in 6th place. So, having dispensed of the sun, Victor, Michael now needs to get past Max Turley. He cannot let Eddie Peterson get ahead of him too far. Gap between the first and second car and that end of that last lap was about 5.5 seconds, and we've under 10 minutes to go. But Michael Cullen, that is, needs to dispense of Max Turley and get his head down and get after Peterson.
Peterson 3 seconds quicker than anybody else last time around, though, so it's going to take some going. This is a good battle. Churchtown Motor Company car coming down into Bridgestone corner of Christopher Grimes Jr. Then it's Phil Lawless. Then it's Keane O'Brien's son and Mickey O'Brien, who's so involved in the junior mini class. He heads right out at the curb trying to get by Phil Lawless. Now Phil won't be in a good form, having dropped back so far from pole position. He's not used to going backwards. Phil is usually a charger and moves forward up the grid, but just not working for him today. I don't think his wet weather setup is right up there. Still very wet. Keane O'Brien looking on the inside line for extra grip, but they both come out pretty much the same speed. Michael Cullen's still trying to chase down Turley. These two guys are having to balance it, aren't they? If they charge at all, there's Turley, the back end of Turley's car going again as he goes by the second apex. He's already on the power there. The back end's still a little bit wayward, so it would be very easy to spin one of these cars, John.
Yeah, Cullen looked a bit shoe happy as well in the background as he came out of 7B, and but he has to get past Turley, because every time that Turley's holding him up, it means that Peterson's pulling ahead. Victor's not close enough to the dad at this stage. Good to see Gordon Kellett's still out there. What's he, about 97?
Gordon's still going and having so much fun. I had a chat with him yesterday. He's just in great form. He just loves it. Gordon's retired, garage, long gone, huge history in Irish motorsport, but he's just raced. I think he purely raced for the crack to slag other people around the paddock. He's in top form and really enjoying himself. So this is getting a little bit closer up front, but again, both of the cars looking a little bit, as the UK racing drivers would say, they look a bit sketchy, a little bit twitchy around the back and hard to drive. Turley with the head forward there, leaning down. They've stayed apart so far, but Cullen hasn't got close enough really to have a go. They're so equally matched that Cullen gets the car out of shape on the brakes down into Max's corner now. And again, Turley's just back of the car, was going to let go, but he pulled it back straight almost before it happened. But these two absolutely together. Then it's Victor Cullen next up. Then it's Christopher Grimes, Keane O'Brien, who has got ahead of Phil Lawless out of shot. Then it's Gordon Kellett, Gary Lynch, and Christopher Grimes Jr.
There's no dry line that doesn't seem to be developing at the moment. The wind is actually quite strong across the circuit. You can see a lot of that rain on the camera screen there as they come down into the S's for this time with 7 minutes and 20 odd seconds to go. So just past the midway point. And once again, Turley just leaves his braking a little bit late, went into the corner pretty deep, but here's enough to slingshot him through and pull away slightly from Michael Cullen. Cullen's just not closing him down, is he?
Well, two best sectors there overall, quicker than Peterson for Turley. So actually Turley is getting away. It's not Cullen slowing. Turley's getting quicker. He's quicker than Peterson in the first sector and the second sector now. So our timing screen shows us that. But as you said, John, it's out to over 6 seconds now, the gap. So I don't think, unless Peterson encounters trouble with just 6 minutes 46 seconds to go. Cullen very late in the brakes. Looked like he was going to take a big chunk out. If we can carry that through, it might bring him back up closer. It's a good run through there. But again, Cullen's car looking very wayward. Power on and opposite lock required. And look at how much Turley got away from that.
Well, he would have lost a lot of time, wouldn't he, with that big slide?
He did. Again, be careful. He doesn't flick the car in there at all, because the back will come round on him. Car looking very, very taily. Turley's car was looking like that early on, but I don't know whether he got heat into the back tyres or he's just settled himself in, but he's certainly looking quick around the lap now. Let's have a look. All the sectors lighting up for Turley. Look at this, John, on the timing screen.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah, this could be a fastest lap for Turley. Here he comes, right, it doesn't have to block because Cullen's 4, 5, 6 lengths back. He's late on the brakes, down to second gear.
I think at this point of the race that actually he's got away from Michael Cullen now and got the head down in the last, what, 6 minutes of this race and
new
try
fastest
and
lap for
chase down the
Peterson.
leader.
Sorry, 15.1 for Peterson that time around. What does Turley do? 14.5 for Turley, fastest lap, John. Fastest lap for Mark Turley, significantly quicker than Eddie Peterson and Michael Cullen. So the young man is one to watch. And look at this, Keane O'Brien now, the Dundalk man, has got by Phil Lawless, and he's all over the back of Christopher Grimes now. Two of the young guns having a go. These young drivers coming to the fore in the class. Grimes down the inside, Keane O'Brien down the outside. And number 555 having a real go. He starred here the last time. He was really impressive. And he's now got by Phil Lawless. He's beginning to crowd the Churchtown Motors car of Christopher Grimes Jr.
Yeah, Christopher Grimes Jr. showing the father how to do it, because he's back in 10th in last place. No Trevor Farr or Eric Holston in this race, so we're down to 10, but I was to say that it just take two cars to make a race, and we've got plenty of races within races out here, and the championship is very much on the line here. Peterson can keep Turley between himself and Michael Cullen as well. He'd obviously get an extended lead in the championship. Just under now, 5 minutes to go, and the lapping in the 2:15s. You can see we've got 2 or 3 more laps. It seems to be starting to dry out just a little bit out there. The spray that we saw, heavy spray at the early part of this race, seems to have dissipated now. Just pulling up shot there to see the battle still for second and third. It's no easy thing to be holding off Michael Cullen, but Cullen's car does look a bit skittery out there, doesn't it? The back end seems to be stepping out a lot.
Skittery. Great way of putting it. She's handling a bit skittery. But funny enough, there's purple sectors again for Turley across the first 2 sectors, but Cullen following him and almost going around there, Cullen. But they are on the ragged edge. Cullen's just done one now in the fastest sector for sector 2, so he is matching Turley now. Maybe watching where he's going, watching where he's doing, but what he's doing. But certainly Cullen's car looks like an absolute handful. I know you don't want understeer in a car, so you want the back moving around, but it's a very, very taily car. I'm sure that's how he asked for it, and that's what LOH gave him. Maybe it's working because he has a purple sector there, but it just looks like a little bit of a handful, doesn't it, John?
We're going to get 2 more laps in, I think. Yeah, less than 4 minutes to go, and say that lapping around the 2:15, 2:14s. Gap between first and second place as they cross the line is 5 seconds. So he's closed the gap a little bit.
Sorry, John. New fastest lap, Michael Cullen. Didn't expect that time around. The last sector, quickest in the second and third sectors. Enough about sectors. Michael Cullen now closing down Max Turley, and they're closing down slightly Eddie Peterson, but it's still 5 seconds ahead.
This is just getting a little drier, Leo. That's the reason why they're actually starting to speed up. The drier out on the track. Still pretty greasy, still pretty wet, but the rain is thankfully abated. You can see the flags in the background there. Pretty strong breeze, so hopefully that'll dry out the track for the rest of the race
Would be the
this
case
afternoon.
if the rest of them were going quicker, John, but no one else down the field. They've all done their quick laps early on. So unless maybe these guys know where the dry patches are on the track. Look at this, Keane O'Brien again having a go. But it's good defensive stuff from Grimes. He's not leaving a gap anywhere. It's going to have to be an inventive move to get by, I think, John. It's going to be somewhere around the outside and with a switchback or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe a dive into the S's now as they come down towards us again. Just have a look down the outside. Grimes close to the door on him.
Yeah,
Does
Grimes
really
didn't
well.
turn in too early there. He left a nice late turn and leave him out there. So O'Brien gets a good run off that corner. They were having trouble with this car during the week, and Mickey and Keane were working on it quite late. In between all the minis they work on. They were back in Dundalk last night fitting the gearbox to Cody Keogh's car, which won the last mini race and will be out again later. But here they come. Keane O'Brien looking to get that run, just struggling for traction. Third gear now down the long back straight up. They're pretty quick, these cars, 160 brake horsepower. So they get up to a good speed here, but it's hard to get them stopped down into 7A and B.
Yeah, it's a downhill sector, isn't it, as well, and especially with the greasy conditions. But, Grimes, a little twitch in the front.
Auto tester, though, well able to contain that one. Be well used to a car moving around under him. Are they catching Victor a little bit, maybe? Was that Victor we saw at the bottom of the screen?
Victor,
it was, yeah. Oh, Phil Lawless, a bit of a swerve in the background. Must be some problem for Phil, and almost going around, but beautifully held was Keane O'Brien. They're well able to drive these cars, all of them, aren't they, John? They look very, very tricky in these wet conditions.
Yeah, but he's lost a lot of space between himself and Grimes there. But, here's the battle now for second and third. And Michael Cullen's just inching his way closer. We're into the last lap now. There's a minute and 16 seconds to go. The gap has come down between the leader Peterson and Turley, but it looks like the real battle of the race is going to be for the second and third place on the podium.
Yeah, well, Turley, as Peterson went by, he took fastest lap. As Turley went by, he beat it. And as Cullen went by, he beat it again. So Cullen has fastest lap now, down into the 13s. And the gap for the first time in a long time, under 5 seconds between Peterson and Turley. So that's, somebody's gone off at the final corner. There we go. That's Grimes Jr. Yeah, under pressure from Keane O'Brien.
Well, it seems that O'Brien, actually, we saw him in the previous shot when he let the back end step out, and he gave Grimes that little bit of extra room, so that looks like he's gone off under his own steam. It's a shame.
Yeah, I think they're both right on the ragged edge, weren't they? We could tell by the back end of the car moving around. These STs obviously take quite a lot of drive. This is Cullen now at fastest lap, trying to close down Turley, and he'll need to get to second place to keep himself in the title hunt with the last round of ICCR coming up on the 1st and 2nd of October, just a few weeks' time. Because Peterson is going to move one step closer to the title again. Eddie Peterson has been a class act all season long in the Murray Motorsport. Peterson's car is like new machine, and he's already streaking away and looking very good. 4.7 seconds to the good when they went across the line last time. That's a gap. Oh, look at Cullen on the brakes from way, way back, John.
And as I said, that is a downhill section, so it's very difficult to get stopped before you have to turn into the right-hand side. I've gone off a couple of times there myself, and they climb the hill back towards us now. This is the last lap. And can the wily old Cullen do anything about the young Max Turley? He's quite close to him now into this complex series of left and right hand corners. One more left. One of those corners you just wait and wait and wait and try to get the power on in around now. And then he's got himself, what, a 3 or 4 car length lead. And, well, Cullen, we've seen it do it before. Can he do it on the last corner?
Very sideways stuff, gets way out of shape, holds it beautifully, but again the car looks very, very taily. Doesn't cost him any time, he's still right there, but unless Turley makes a mistake, John, I think this is it.
I think so too. The yellow flag's been waved too, so he can't overtake. So that's a shame for Michael Cullen, but well done, Peterson. Max Turley held him off. That's Michael Cullen in 3rd place. So Peterson will extend his championship lead. He'd be delighted to see the fact that Turley held off his nearest protagonist, Michael Cullen.
Yeah, Turley's a teammate of Eddie Peterson's as well, so it'll be all working out for everybody there. But Michael Cullen tried his best, just couldn't make it. There's Victor Cullen, good drive from Victor, kept them in sight and was matching the times of those guys towards the end. Then it's Keane O'Brien next up, another good run from Keane O'Brien. Great stuff with that one. Mickey O'Brien will be delighted with that. And then Gordon Kellett's got a hold of Phil Lawless on the run to the line. Gordo gets a better run on the way out, pulls to the inside. Oh, defending from Lawless. Gordo back to the outside. It could have ended up in one of Gordon's famous runs up against the wall. Historically, you'd never get between Gordon and the pit wall, but Gordon will have enjoyed that one. You'll hear the laugh, I'm sure, all over the place as he comes back in, but he'll have enjoyed that run to the line. Then it's Gary Lynch, who had gone well the last day, but struggling a little bit today. Only just getting used to that car. Hasn't had much running in it at all, really. So great stuff from Gary Lynch. Then it's going to be Christopher Grimes Sr. in the ex-Jack Byrne car, and that will round out the Coffee to Go Fiesta STs for their 2nd race of the weekend. They had one yesterday, John, and one today.
Yeah, good win for Peterson. Non-finish for Christopher Grimes. He's still, as you can see, top of your picture there, caught in the gravel trap. So Peterson wins 32nd, Michael Cullen 3rd place on the podium.
So that Fiesta ST will have to get towed in. Christopher Grimes Jr. just getting ready there, and one of the snatch units being sent up. So it'll be Formula V next down on the grid. So we'll just take a quick commercial break while they're pulling this Fiesta back into the paddock and releasing the single-seaters.
Every day is a chance to make this world your own. Just watch out for those you share it with. My world, my station, my music.
on, Kalil. Yeah, that's good. Good driving. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Rev it up, rev it up. Go there. Go, go, go. One right, immediately followed by a 5 right. Keep it left, keep it left, keep it left. Come on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Come on, come on, keep going, keep going, keep going.
So we're ready to go racing again, and this time it's single-seaters being released from the assembly area, and it's Formula V's, the budget single-seaters, air-cooled 1600cc Volkswagen engines, class introduced by the late David Shane to Irish motorsport in the mid-late 70s. And it has just blossomed. It's always been the biggest, certainly in recent times, or recent memory, the biggest single-seater class. Formula 4s was the biggest for a long time, but Formula V have just grown and grown and grown. They have 3 championships within one, A, B and C championships. And they're all mixed up. Owen Kelly is on pole position for this one. He's actually a B runner. Anthony Cross, multiple champion, will join him in the front row. Timmy Murray in the beautifully self-modified Leastone chassis on row 2. Jack Byrne alongside him, then Gavin Buckley. And incredibly, Kieran Hannon, a C driver in the Leastone, up on 6th place. Then Colin O'Loughlin, Donald Downey, watch out for him. Eamon Thornton, Paul Lewis, Shane O'Neill, Sean McCallion, Sylvester Bartlett, Brendan Ellis, Colin Lewis, Mark Shepherd, Aaron Murray, Stephen Roach, Niall O'Mara and Norman May.
Yeah, I drove these back in the 1990s. One of the first races I had, I think it stalled as where they're coming down to now, and the S's went off onto the grass and came back on, and the car wouldn't start. And I can't remember who it was, but anyway, he came over the top of me. Ignominy started the career. Best result, I finished second in the C race, then in the Leinster Trophy, and then my way to the Leinster Trophy final. Having worked my way through the pack, I was delighted to get into the back of the grid. Fortunately, I had to do a radio report, and they left me hanging, so I was sitting in the car doing the radio report, and as soon as the radio report had finished, the race had gone, and I was left sitting, and they wouldn't let me out. So that's my biggest memory of racing in these Formula V's. Fantastic. Obviously, you mentioned about David Shane, the late David Shane, bringing in this particular brand, but it was also joined a couple of years ago as well by Paul Heavey and the Leastones too. So 2 constructors involved in this championship.
You sound like Uncle Albert. You should have started that one with during the war. But Paul Heavey and the Leastones sounds like a band when you put the plural on the end of it. But yeah, Paul came along in about 93 with the first Leastone chassis and was immediately competitive. And then Ray Moore ordered one and went off and won Irish and British championships with it. And Paul's still competing very successfully in the UK with the Formula 1000 cars. And is here this weekend, in fact.
Yeah, I had a quick chat with Paul before I came in. Good friend of mine. It's good to see him here and still being as competitive as ever. The Mosport Championship, as you talked about, the 1000cc. Paul has got that Leastone involved in the UK Championship now for a couple of years. Another 15-minute lap, 15-minute race, I should say, on the international circuit. So Conroy's on pole, and it's Kelly, Cross, Murray, and Jack Byrne. Watch out for Jack Byrne in that LOH Leastone, sorry, Shane, my apologies, on the 3rd row of the grid. He'll certainly be involved. Nearest the Leastones we've got is in 7th place. That's Kieran Hannon. Is down in 7th place at the Leastones, but it's up the front, it's all Shane's.
Well, actually, Tim Murray's car is a Leastone, showing us for some reason there's an LOH Shane on the timing screen here, so he must have entered it as that, but that's a Leastone chassis.
Okay.
Beautiful modified bodywork on that, John. Have a look at it when he comes down to the 2nd row of the grid. The red car is beautifully prepared. If you have 2 hours to spare, he'll tell you all about it.
It's very well prepared, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It really is. I'm surprised more people haven't got replicas of that bodywork, because it looks almost Formula Ford-esque. It's very beautiful looking there on row 2. Jack Byrne, a hard charger in the Abbey Lawn car, almost hidden there on the right-hand side of the screen there in the bright green car. Very, very quick guy. He'll be relishing these conditions. But Owen Kelly, the second of the Kelly brothers, still a B runner. Distinctive bodywork on that Shane car. And very, very quick, and was brilliant to watch in wet conditions this morning. As you said, John, it's been drying just a little bit, so that might there might be some guys down the order that weren't that impressed with the wet conditions this morning. But let's see when they get going. Good grid of Formula V's. They want to get them going fairly quick. They don't like being left sitting on the grid. These air-cooled engines, they can pop a plug out. They need air running through them to keep them cool.
Conroy starting from the pit lane, is he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He is, yeah.
Great start from Kelly, great start from the Abbey Lawn car. Cross gets left, but look at the Abbey Lawn car. Jack Byrne on the right hand side. Colin Lewis, was it? Somebody coming spearing through the mid-grid there with a great start. Jack Byrne down the outside, but Kelly goes back at him on the brakes. And a good lunge from him there. And in fact, Cross has limited the damage there. It still stays in third place. Very bad start, by his lofty standards, very bad start for Anthony Cross. Where's Tim Murray? He's gone well back too, John.
He's down to fourth. Ronan Conroy starting from the pit lane down to 21st place. Watch him carve his way through the field, but long way to go with 21 cars entered, having to come up from 21st place to try and get a place on the podium. But watch out for Conroy.
Yeah, Murray just gaining a place back up. Donald Downey coming through, all the rest. Great grid of Formula V streaming through. Kelly doing nicely out in front at the moment, on his toes. Donegal man going well. He's a B driver, but certainly leading everybody in this one now as they head up the hill for the first time. Jack Byrne, Anthony Cross and Timmy Murray, the order next.
Rear-wheel drive cars. These, especially in the wet conditions, the back end just wants to step out all the time. It's really light at the front. At the back, it's just, there you go. There's a perfect example of it. Going into Lola corner. Oh, he could have collected 3 or 4. That's what? Conroy, is that Conroy going out on the gravel? But let's give you a prime example of that. The back end just steps out and nearly caused carnage.
Yeah, well, he didn't stay on the brakes, let the car roll backwards, which is your instinct, because he was trying to get off the track, but that led a couple of guys to have to go around him, and went off at relatively high speed there, but all good. They controlled it nicely, kept going, and we're all still good. Anthony Cross now closing down Jack Byrne for that second place. Cross is just so incredibly quick and consistent in Formula V. Very hard to beat. That bad start, well, he won't have been happy with that. He won't be used to it, but he will come back. Fear not.
Kelly's disappearing up the road. Already Byrne has got Cross for company right behind him now as we come to the end of the first lap. Interesting to see what the gap is between these two. Byrne made a very good start to this race, but he's under pressure.
Kelly and the distinctive bodywork on that chain chassis. She goes across. Jack Byrne, Anthony Cross, Tim Murray, Gavin Buckley is next up from Donald Downey. Gavin Buckley down the outside of Murray, very late on the brakes there. Murray stays to the inside. Buckley looking to see if there's more grip around the outside. If there is, he'll have the line for Campion. He does indeed. He takes that place away. That was good stuff, John. Good hard racing, but they gave each other plenty of room. Waved yellows. Somebody gone off down at turn 1. Or a quick spin, perhaps, but there were waved yellows in the background. Tim Murray wants that place back now in the Leastone chassis. There's a look down the inside. Nice move down the inside the second apex as they go down to third gear. Doesn't go wide. Buckley hoping to get back across the back of him, but doesn't manage it. Donald Daly beginning to cruise up behind these two to make it a 3-way battle now, or Donald Downey, I should say. The local man from Nace instructs at Mondello Park as well. He's been very quick all year in this older Leastone chassis.
Buckley left the door open there, didn't he, going into that double apex right-hander, just over to the left-hand side, and lost the place. Keeping an eye on Ronan Conroy, who said he started from the pit lane, so by the time the cars had gone away, he was about 4 or 5 seconds behind everybody else, but he's moved himself up from 21st to 17th, but still a long way to go.
Good run from Buckley in the background there at Murray again off Lola corner, but look at this as Cross closes down Byrne now. 2 similar Shane chassis. Cross looking very quick,
isn't he?
He sure is. Reigning champion, multiple champion. I'm just checking my facts there. 4 championships in a row and looking for number 5.
Would be considerable, all right. Jack Byrne, but Kelly's the one who's got this early lead. Byrne's having to fend off the attentions. You can see there Anthony Cross coming out of 7A and 7B. He was right on his gearbox, just a little gap between them now as they head up to the back of the paddock and up to the hill towards Southside Motor Factor corner. We get an indication of the lead that Kelly has got in this 15-minute race. They're lapping around the 220s, 222s. And at the end of this, the second lap of the race, gap is 3.5 seconds, nothing between second and third.
Jack Byrne with the head tucked right down under the cockpit. You just about see the tops of his eyes there on the main straight. He flicks to the right to look at the mirrors and back to the left. But Cross is still there. You don't need to check as Buckley begins to crowd Tim Murray again in the background. So good battles all the way down the grid as we always get in Formula V. Owen Kelly leading this one, fastest lap to him, 2:20.231. He's leading by 3.5 seconds at the end of lap 2.
Into the S as they go. Less than 10 minutes to go. I think Byrne seems to get the grips now of this battle between himself and Cross. He's just eking out a little bit of an advantage as they go down towards Lola Corner. There's our leader coming through, no problem at all for Kelly. Here's the real battle of the race though, which I think from that shot, Byrne seems to be winning. Now he needs to get the head down, see if he can close that gap between himself and Kelly over the remainder of this race. Less than 9 minutes to go. Slowed right down going into 7A there. Cross came right back at him there, so under braking, Cross seems to be the better prepared car in terms of under braking. And the straight line, it seemed to me that Jack Byrne is the quicker car, but going into the corners, oh, somebody's gone off. I think that's Colin O'Loughlin, is it? Yeah, Colin O'Loughlin's gone off, so for the second time he's trying to get the car back out of the gravel, or sorry, out of the grass. Yeah, that wasn't the best of laps from Byrne, was it? Cross is right back with him as well. It was about 4 or 5 car lengths between these two as they were heading out for this particular lap, but again they're conjoined, coming down from the Southside Motor Factors corner to complete this lap. Gap as they cross the line between the leaders, and Byrne in second place is 6.6 seconds. The gap is growing. Cross has a little look around the outside. Byrne closes the door firmly on them as they go into the first corner and into that Campion corner. A little wide there, Byrne. Cross is going to come alongside him now as they head down towards this double apex right-hander out the country. Cross looking to the left-hand side, maybe a little switchback here, trying to get a bit of a pull up the hill down towards the S's. I thought Byrne for one stage, Leo, was going to pull away, but he certainly isn't. Cross is keeping him honest.
Yeah, we've seen this all day, John, a couple of the races. The cars are all very tricky in these conditions. It's slippery out there, and they're all kind of treading on eggshells to a certain extent. So you'll see guys pull away and lose out and pull away and lose out, but certainly these two are both trying very hard. Jack Byrne has to go a bit defensive in the dry. That would slow you down on the exit, but there's so many different lines here, and so look at him putting a little bit of opposite lock on and just feeding the throttle on the V. Now in relative terms, V's don't have huge power, but that looked like he had a massive big V8 in the back, didn't it? Yeah. He had to just stab the throttle on and off, and that's just how slippy it is out there. Waved yellows down at 7A and B. Somebody's off on the outside here. There's a car parked in the gravel on the outside, but no problem. Driver's out already, I think, in a way, up on the bank. So, but there won't be any more overtaking down into 7A and B as a result. With those waved yellows. Cross with a good run this time. Doesn't know where to go with it though, John.
No, Byrne just moved over to the right hand side, closed the door. He's had to go around the long way here. He used to keep the shoe in. Just get it up alongside and see if he can make that maneuver. This is a long sweeping left-hander here. Again, a bit like Lola Corner, it's a bit tighter. Just get the power down here and head back into the back of the paddock.
Oh, he's got a run. He's up the inside. I think this could be it. He's side by side, out of view now for us. Watch the top of the screen when they come into view here. He's down the inside, but Jack Byrne's a brave young man, and he sits around the outside and hangs on to it there. Great stuff from Jack Byrne. I thought that was job done, game, set, and match, but Jack Byrne said, I don't think so. No, sat around the outside of Paddock corner, and we don't say that too many times in the commentary box here.
No, he's too far away. Cross for the switchback. Another lap down, 5.5 minutes to go. Gap is growing all the time. Now it's nearly 10 seconds, 9.2 seconds between the leader and this battle for second place. But obviously while they're battling away out there, gives a chance for Kelly just to keep the head down and move away and barring any problems over the latter part of this race, he should have gone cruise to an easy victory.
Well, Donald Downey has taken 2 or 3 places. He made one up at the final corner, but he's up to 4th place now. He's ahead of Buckley, where he got by him at Southside, but he's also ahead of Tim Murray. So a great lap from Downey there. You could see him opposite locking his way out of the final corner and onto the main straight in the dark blue Leastone.
Now this is where Byrne generally pulls away on the straight. But once again under braking into the S's. Cross gets closer. So this is kind of, Peter Collins used to call it a melodeon effect. And we know we were talking about, Peter, it was an accordion effect, but anyway.
A squeeze box effect. And again, Jack Byrne just drifts the car beautifully. 3rd gear as he hangs onto it there, grabs 4th then out onto the back straight, but stays over to the right. There's no way he's going to leave a gap on the inside in case Cross gets a run on him. Here comes Cross on the brakes again, but Byrne has this well under control. If you catch somebody like that, John, you don't get by them within a few laps. They get to know each other, and that makes it even harder because Byrne is going to know where Anthony Cross is quicker. He knows it there. Watch him pull over here if Cross gets a run. There he goes over to the centre of the road just in case. He might have left a little gap there, and Cross takes a big lunge, does he? He does, yeah.
Over the curb he goes.
Byrne won't back off though, right around the outside.
Just a little mistake got up over the curb. Cross, I thought I had him. He was down the inside, but that little mistake has allowed Byrne to keep that 2nd place. This is a terrific battle. Always says just makes 2 cars, takes 2 cars to make a race, and this is exemplified by these 2 out here. Byrne holding off Cross, Kelly disappearing up the road.
Yeah, that's twice Cross had the job done, and Byrne with incredible commitment just sat round the outside. Once at Paddock corner, incredible stuff. So if he can hang on here, he deserves it. Watch him check in the mirror again and again. That's to see if he's going for the switchback or he's going to try and run around the outside. He tried neither. He just tries to get a better run. As they grab 4th gear now, he tries to get alongside. Cross has got a little bit of a run, but Jack Byrne's car every bit as quick in a straight line, as John said, and he had to go back in behind him, so the run didn't bring him anywhere. He's on the brakes now, down to 3rd gear here. They take this first corner in 3rd gear. Feed the power back on before they get to Campion corner, and somewhere through Campion or on the exit they'll grab 4th. Again gets a better exit, tries to get up the inside. He's done this before again, John. He's on the outside here, but he hasn't fancied sitting around the outside. If he gets that 2nd wheel ahead, which he's done, he should be able to shut the door. Now that is a cracking manoeuvre.
There's Senna. That's the Senna manoeuvre, isn't it?
No, the Senna manoeuvre was a missed gear. It's a myth. It was a missed gear, and Senna was ahead before the first apex of turn 1. But it's not. That's what people do call it. But actually, where that move started from Anthony Cross was down at Max's corner. He got a late apex at Max's corner, got the run, short shifted. If you saw up a smoke, he short shifted into 4th gear and came across the back of Byrne at Campion corner and had the run on the way out, and then was committed enough to carry it around the outside. So great stuff. I thought Byrne had come back on the inside, but Cross had enough done.
Yeah, it was. Did well to close the door. Byrne could have just given them a little nudge, but he didn't. Fairness to him, good clean racing.
Yeah.
And this is the chance for Cross now to pull away. You can see that car, as Leo's been alluding to, going through Lola corner of Jack Byrne. It just slides. He gets that, trying to get that opposite lock as well. But as now Cross has got past Byrne, you would expect him to pull away. He's been all over his gearbox for the vast majority of this race, and now he's got his way. He's into 2nd place, but there's a long way between themselves and Owen Kelly up front. At the end of the last lap, there was a 10-second gap, and we've only got a minute and 26 seconds to go. So might get another lap in here, Leo.
Yeah, Owen Kelly's been very impressive. We haven't seen much of him because, rightly so, we've been watching this incredible battle, but Owen Kelly's been really impressive out front. He's also a B driver, so he's leading the B runners in this one and the A runners. The next B runner is Donald Downey in 4th, and then Paul Lewis is going nicely in 7th in a beautifully prepared car. Sylvester Bartlett, the first of the C runners, and he's inside the top 10 as well, which is impressive stuff, in 9th place.
I didn't realise Owen Kelly was a B runner. That makes it even more impressive. Driving well in the wet. There he is. It's getting a bit of a dry line out there. We can see it. Spots of the track are starting to dry out with that breeze across the track. We've got a strong old breeze there after the pretty torrential rain we had this morning.
Somebody's off. Tim Murray, that is, at the final corner.
You can just see that in the background. Up at Southside Manufacturers corner. He's got it going again, though.
Yeah,
there he is.
There he is, just rejoining. So not a great day by his standards. He's dropped well back there, Timmy Murray. That would have brought Paul Lewis, I think it is, just ahead of him, is it now, as he went by? It is Paul Lewis in another one of those modified Leastone chassis. I was just saying somebody should be asking for replicas of the bodywork, but Paul Lewis's car looks pretty similar. So very, very slimline car. Looks absolutely fantastic. 4 seconds to go, so on their final lap now, John. Owen Kelly and the rest.
Saw Kelly going through your shot there. The battle for second looks like it's over now. Byrne will have to, looks like he's going to content himself for third place.
Yeah, Byrne's not so convinced it's over, is he? He's still having a go through the next one, though. As you said, John, he's all opposite lock and struggling for traction to a certain extent there. You could lull yourself into a sense of security from up here in the commentary and think that the track is dry, looking at it like that, but certainly on the way out of Lola Corner now. Watch Byrne again. Look, it's nowhere near dry. Look at his car all over the place. Understeer, oversteer.
You just dab the brakes going into that corner, really, and every time he seems to dab the brakes, he seems to lose the back end of it, Byrne, and that's what's costing him.
Yeah, certainly that time, but it's the final lap. I think he's just throwing caution to the wind, trying everything. These two guys aren't too interested in the winner walking towards us here. Got their back to the potential winner as he goes by. But Cross still has him in sight. He could have seen Kelly there on the length of that straight, and they didn't lose too much. Probably 8 or 10 seconds, maybe, I suppose, when we counted up at the end. But Byrne still having a go, really on the ragged edge, trying to, and sideways again, trying to haul in Anthony Cross. But Cross will be doing the numbers, knowing how many points he needs. But the leader now is going to be approaching the last corner shortly.
It's impressive from Cross, I have to say. He just kept at Byrne. At one stage, it looked like Byrne was going to pull away from him and take that second place. But in the end, it was Cross who got past him in a difficult place, that double apex. Right-hander out the country. But here's our winner.
Owen Kelly takes the checkered flag. Massively impressive run for him in difficult conditions. Still a drag race to the line, and still drifting is Jack Byrne in the Abbey Lawn car. But Anthony Cross takes that second place. Great battle between those two guys. I hope they get to shake hands after that. That was all race long. And look at that sideways stuff. Celebrations from Owen Kelly. He's flicking the car around in front of the grandstand there on his cooling down lap. So great stuff. Gavin Buckley comes through for fourth. Donald Downey not too far away in fifth place. Then Timmy Murray just gets by Paul Lewis on the last lap. Then Sean McCallion. And a gap back to the rest. But great battles all the way down the grid there in Formula V.
Somebody losing it there on the last corner. It's car 25, Sylvester Bartlett, but he gets the car home safely.
Well, that cost him the C win, John, I think, didn't it? It did. You look down at that, Kieran Hannon just took that place on the final lap, so in 9th place overall, and first C runner home, Star Tomorrow runner home is Kieran Hannon, then Sylvester Bartlett, then Brendan Ellis, all C runners, and indeed Shane O'Neill, so they're pretty close together. All the newcomers going nicely in Formula V. They've always been very good at attracting newcomers in this class. So great stuff. From the Selco.ie Formula V Championship contenders, giving us great entertainment. There they are getting out of the cars. And indeed, there is... that's Jack Byrne just getting out of the car now. But great entertainment. And waiting for him, I think, is for a handshake is Anthony Cross. So great stuff from the V guys. Kelly already out of the car. But stunning performance from him today from pole position. Nobody touched him all through that race. Just eased away and looked perfectly at home. There weren't too many sideways moments or anything like that. But great to see from Irish Formula V. So Formula V is all inside scrutiny. There'll be some technical checks and some conversations and patting on the back and shaking of hands. But while that's happening and while we're waiting for the Siltek Safety Fiesta Zetec, we'll take a quick commercial break.
Every day is a chance to make this world your own. Just watch out for those you share it with. My world, my station, my music.
Square left onto the Yeah, that's good. Good drive. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Rev it up, rev it up. Georgia, go, go, go. One right, immediately followed by a 5 right. Keep it in, keep it in, keep it in. Come on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Come on, come on, keep going, keep going, keep going.
So it's the time for the Siltek Safety Fiesta Zetecs now. They're lining up in the pit lane. And once again, guess who it is on pole? It's the guy you just saw in the ads. It's Phil Lawless. He was on pole in the STs. He's on pole this time in the TSG Charge car in the Fiesta Zetecs. Former class champion, works at Mondello Park during the week. And always a real hard trier in these Fiesta Zetecs. Alongside him is Rob Barrable. Rob Barrable, former Leinster Trophy winner, former multiple rally winner, race winner, Formula Ford winner, highly talented, can jump into any car. He's rented a car from Murray Motorsport for the weekend. Then Andy Kavanagh is going very well in that orange and black car and is very much in the title hunt. Then Michael Barrable, 22, you can see him there in the MB Motors car. He leads the championship. Then Johnny Whelan, and then Keith Dawson. Keith Dawson is borrowing his uncle's car, Alan Dawson's car. And Keith is a regular front runner, but jumped into Alan's car yesterday and absolutely dominated. Stuck the car on pole, disappeared down the road and broke the lap record, and was absolutely delighted with himself yesterday evening. So he might be starting in 6th place, but I don't think he'll stay there. So watch out for Keith Dawson there. You can see the car with the green mirrors. And after him is Collie Barrable, Sean McGovern, Caleb Shanley, Mark O'Donoghue, Ian Fishburne, Eduardo Gonzaga, Michael Keogh, Roy Tobin, James Byrne, Cole McLaughlin, Lorcan McGivney, Kelsey Kirby, Dara Brennan, Louise Lawler and Niall O'Mara.
It's the Barrable show, isn't it?
Yeah, plenty of Barrables here. We've got 3 of them out there. We've got Michael, his brother Collie, and Michael's son Rob all out there.
Johnny Whelan is racing under appeal. So he's appealed previous exclusion, so he is entitled to race, while that appeal has yet to be heard. So interesting to see how he goes out here today. But Phil Lawless was on the, as you mentioned, on pole in the ST race. That was a reverse grid. This one he's up there on pole by right. So is this a reverse? It is a reverse. So yeah, so another reverse grid. So interesting to see how Phil gets on this time. He was swapped at the start, wasn't he, in the last race, Leo? But,
yeah, I don't think he'll make that mistake again. He was 6th right in the mix in the first race. They always swap the top 6 for race 2. But yeah, I think Phil overestimated how slippery it was off the line. I don't think he'll do it again. That car there, the light blue or greenish blue and white car, is Eduardo Gonzaga. He's a Brazilian driver, and he is racing with the support of the Senna Foundation, celebrating 40 years of Ayrton Senna winning here at Mondello Park in September. To the month, Ayrton Senna won here. You can see it on YouTube in Mondello Park, and he's carrying the official Ayrton Senna logo. And we ran a piece on social media about it on Friday, and they replied, and they've messaged him, and they're going to do something. They're going to publish something on the 12th of September, which is the day that Senna won here, to celebrate 40 years of his victory here at Mondello Park.
it's after he's starting 12th on the grid then, isn't it?
Yeah, and he won yesterday. He won the rookies. He's first of the rookie guys. So the guy he's got to watch out for is James Byrne, 66. Incredibly quick for a rookie. Eduardo's been going well too, but James Byrne has won almost all of them. Eduardo's taken 2 rookie wins, including one yesterday, which I thought was very apt because of the month that's in it. But starting to go really well, Eduardo. He had a great scrap with Ian Fishburne for most of the race yesterday. They stayed apart, but great to watch.
There's a real contrast with these drivers and up the front, isn't it? Phil Lillis, as you mentioned, works here. Rob Barrable, former Leinster Trophy winner, went rallying and still does rallying. Andy Kavanagh, former to Shane, former to Vee. Michael Barrable, we know, leading the championship. Former national rally champion. Johnny Whelan has raced in so many different brands of cars down the years. He's in 5th, and then Keith Dawson behind him, and then Colin Barrable, the 3rd of the Barrable runners. So there's quite a considerable mix here, isn't there, Leo, at the top, and have all driven in various disciplines of motorsport right throughout the years.
Yeah, well, it's a very accessible class, John. You know, I mean, if you could find one, because there are 40-something cars registered, so they're kind of hard to find a built race car, but it's very accessible. The cars were $2.5 grand. They've probably gone up a little bit since that because of the popularity of them. But you know, Anthony Hoy and his team of scrutineers have come on board, and there are a lot of eligibility checks in this car, and as a result, it's incredibly close. It reminds you of Formula Ford here. The last time out, I think Mick Keogh was 0.9 off pole position, and he was 17th on the grid. So you know, there's no big gaps anywhere. If you can drive, you can have a go on one of these cars. The suspension is not adjustable. You run a KYB shock. The shocks are only about 25 quid each, plus VAT. I think it's like 150 something euro for 4 shocks. Control spring. The springs are less than 100 quid for the 4 springs. So bar tyre pressures and toe in, toe out, there's nothing really you can adjust on them. There's no secrets to the engines. You get a cylinder head off one of these, and you can skim them a little bit, but then there's a bit of work done. So you get them to your local machine shop. A lot of people use Steve Griffin, some people use Martin Tracy, people like that, you know, different engineering shops, and they run a standard bottom end. There apparently is no benefit from doing any work to the bottom end of the cars. So not a dear car to maintain, not a dear car to prepare, but my word, is it competitive, John. I mean, it's like 0.9 off pole to be back in 17th place. So it's going to be good racing. It's always good racing, and let's see what happens.
And the season usually wraps up with a 6-hour race, and it's due to run in November with these cars as well. I remember the first year we did it, Leo, the 6-hour race, thinking, will the cars actually last that long? But they're very robust. There's no doubt about it. They're very robust cars, these, and as you said, there's 21 cars out racing as well, which is double the grid we had for the STs.
Well, actually, they've split the Saturday and Sunday, which doesn't suit a lot of drivers. So there was 32 cars out, I think, the last day out. But a lot of these guys self-employed and work on Saturdays, so it didn't suit them. So they're hoping to go back to a single-day event. But other than that, we had to extend the amount of the numbers we could have on the grid for this class and increase Mondello's maximum grid size earlier in the year because of so many guys. We've got a rookie championship, as we said, for the newcomers. So just pulling up there is Eduardo Gonzaga. He'll love another win on that one. But you've got to watch out for James Byrne, Cole McLaughlin, and a few others in that class that are gathering points as well. Louise Hogan in her first race, she did a female ladies charity race many moons ago. That's her just pulling up to the back of the grid. Her first championship race was yesterday. This is her second one. She hung on to a few of them for a few laps, and she's no experience, so watch out for Louise. She's delighted to be on the grid. Rob Barrable, danger man here, I think, isn't he? Outside the front row, JK?
Yeah, I think so. Phil swamped to the STs. Can he keep it going in the Fiesta race? And Yeah, well, he's lost the lead already.
Yeah, the Barrables have done it. Rob leads and Michael, I think, up to second place. If we can see the front corner, he is up to second place. Michael follows Rob and gets up to be in front of Phil Lawless. And this is great stuff. Johnny Whelan having a look around the outside. McGovern and Johnny Whelan side by side. But a good first corner for the Barrables now. Michael Barrable looking to get by Rob straight away. I wonder, will Rob go for a win or will he let his dad buy for championship points? Rob is registered. You can't race in the championship unless you're registered. So he's taking points off his dad as we speak, John.
Yeah, still a long way to go though, Leo. Look at this gaggle of cars behind Johnny Whelan. Good start from Whelan too. Not a great start from Phil Lawless again. Once again gets bogged down. He's got to work on his starts, I'm afraid, Phil. That's the two Barrables up front now. Rob and Michael conjoined up the front, and the rest of them now trying to chase them down.
Yeah, Whelan up to fourth place, though, very much a danger man. Huge pace, Johnny Whelan, he really has, and he's got ahead. Oh, look at Caleb Shanley, flicks it around the outside of McGovern, gets sideways, stands on the power of the Spirit car and hangs onto it. Caleb Shanley's really impressing me this year. Caleb, I should say, sorry, I get his name wrong, apologies for that, but that was just great stuff. That was commitment around the outside of Bridgestone corner, and he caught it beautifully with the throttle when the back hung out. Rob Barrable is heading off down the road. He's bringing his dad with him. Johnny Whelan gets out of shape, trying to get a run at Andy Kavanagh now. Andy Kavanagh won't want to let Johnny by because he needs to stay as close to Barrable as he can. He is in the hunt for the championship. And watch the car with the green bumpers there, John. That is yesterday's winner and new lap record holder Keith Dawson trying to have a go at Phil Lawless. Whelan's down the inside. Can't believe Andy Kavanagh left the door open there.
That wasn't great from Kavanagh. He's around this game for an awful long time, but he left the door open, way open for Johnny Whelan, and just dived down the inside to 7A and took that third place. Now he's going to go chasing down the road. As I say, he's racing under appeal here, Johnny Whelan, but that was a good overtaking manoeuvre, but a bad mistake from Kavanagh.
But crucially in the background, a great move by Keith Dawson, got the traction and got by Phil Lawless on the run back up the hill. Lawless now wrong footed, and McGovern I think is down the inside. He is. Phil is hard but fair, but he leaves racing room. Shanley looking to get up that inside as well. Then Mark O'Donoghue, Mick Keogh getting down the inside. Nice move of Collie Barrable. Then the Fish Graphics car of Ian Fishburne right in there too. They're all spaced out. Let's see what kind of pace. Look at Dawson sideways and holding it beautifully. And uber defensive on the way up the hill now is Andy Kavanagh. Dawson looking for a space, the inside, the outside. McGovern goes down the outside of Dawson. So it's going to be about traction here coming out. Dawson moves right out to the outside, gets a great run. Kavanagh goes to the inside. They grab third. You can see the jerk when they grab third gear there on these cars. Soft enough suspension by race car standards. That's a great line of cars coming by us now.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Nose to tail, down into that first corner, tries around the outside. Whelan's pulling away. Kavanagh, I think, is holding them all up here at this stage. He's playing a defensive role. It allows the front three to pull ahead. Two Barrables at the front, then Johnny, and then it's Sandy Kavanagh. Kavanagh will be disgusted with himself having left the door open for Johnny Whelan, and now he's playing a defensive role.
Bad first lap for Gonzaga in the rookies. He's dropped right back, and James Byrne predictably had rocketed up to 11th place overall. And again, very defensive. Dawson goes to the outside, leaves a gap for McGovern, who slots it down the inside. They stay apart, but Dawson sits around the outside. You can do that on these cars. They've got loads of grip from those Yokohama tyres. And you can sit around the outside. That's just what he's done there. So retains that place, but Kavanagh hangs on for the moment.
How long can he hold them on for, though? You can see disappearing up the road. There's Whelan in front of him. And no impression so far between son and father. Rob, at the end of that lap, had a 1.3 second advantage. Johnny Whelan in third place. 2.4 seconds in the rear.
Dawson's got the job done, I think. Sorry, Johnny. Got that traction just down the inside, and he's got better traction than Kavanagh. That's where it is in this car, I think. It's really well set up. He was telling me last night, you brake, it just stops. You turn in, it just turns in. It's a lovely car to drive. It's beautifully built, that car of Alan Dawson. If you have a look at it, we'll put many far more exclusive cars to shame as Caleb Shanley goes off on the outside. O'Donoghue goes with him. They're doing the synchronized dancing, the three of them there, and all beautifully held. Mick Keogh as well behind O'Donoghue. They all, once you lift off, the back lets go, and they have to lift off if something happens in front. So they all just about held onto it, but that was a Swan Lake there in Zetec Fiestas down at 7A and B.
Yeah, I think Kavanagh's actually got the wrong line going into that corner. So he wasn't over that left-hand side, and he's just allowing that gap to his right-hand side, which has been exploited now on a number of occasions into that 7A corner. First Johnny Whelan, and now the rest of the likes of Dawson and McGovern getting ahead of him.
And Mick Keogh right in the mix as well. He's had a tough season. That brand new car. It's another car that's absolutely sideways when I said it to him. Beautifully held by Mick Keogh. But that car is absolutely stunning. It is so well built by Mick and Jay Dunnigan. It's a lockdown car, and they spent far too much time and money on it, Mick says. But it's absolutely gorgeous if you have a look at it inside and out. And he's really all over these guys. Fishburne trying to get down the inside of him, though, and Keogh on the outside. Fishburne on the inside. But Keogh's more interested in trying to get by O'Donoghue. He's getting alongside him now on the main straight.
Fastest lap from Johnny Whelan. 3.8 seconds off Rob Barrable. Michael Barrable in second place, 1.3 seconds off his son. Dawson, McGovern, Kavanagh relegated to 6th place.
Yeah, less than a tenth in it between the two Barrables and Whelan, though, so there's no gaps being closed there. And now a purple sector for Rob Barrable. So I think maybe you're right what you said earlier, John. It's just drying out. We'll keep getting fastest laps, which will add to the excitement from our point of view. These 4 guys look quick as well, but they can't get it 5 now. But they can't get a clear lap because they're all having a go at each other. And Caleb Shanley now, Phil Lawless behind. Oh, Mick Keogh contacting the back of Mark O'Donoghue there and right round the outside of him. And that's going to bring Fish by him as well. Mark O'Donoghue dropping back now. Keogh down into the S's. Well, it's not the S's today, is it? It's Bridgestone Corner leading out onto the international track. Keith Dawson, lap record holder. Let's see what kind of pace he's got with a lap on his own. McGovern next up, then Kavanagh, then Caleb Shanley, then Phil Lawless, Mick Keogh, Ian Fishburn, Mark O'Donoghue, and all the rest.
Yeah, McGovern's putting in some good, decent sector times as well. A couple of purples up here. First and second. First one anyway.
Ian Fishburn looks strong in that group, doesn't he? He's cruised up to the back of looking to have a go at Mick Keogh, but Mick Keogh's looking very good as well. Here comes Fishburn with a big dive down the inside. Oh, Phil Lawless goes around. That's not like Phil Lawless. And Keogh up another place. Mick Keogh making his way up the grid here in the Donegan car. Oh, that's James Byrne, Dent Magic car, the rookie championship leader there, bouncing over the inside, trying to stay out of it all. So Phil Lawless not having a great day. No. Rob Barrable being closed down by his dad, I think, a little bit here, is he? Let's have a look. These first 3 very, very close together in terms of space. I think there's a change in the background. I think I saw somebody alongside. Who did I see? Let's have a look. We go back. It's Keith Dawson and somebody else I saw side by side. Here's the 3 leaders.
Yeah, sort of refer back to Phil Lawless there. There was no contact at all. He just did it himself.
McGovern has got by Lawless out of our view. Look at the top of the screen. There they go. McGovern has got by Keith Dawson down the inside into the long left-hander. Oh, and around goes the Fish graphics car. Around goes Shamley. They stay apart. They're all very taily in this wet weather, but they held on well. But there's a bit of luck that they all stayed apart there. That's Caleb Shanley getting going. Gonzaga up there too. And now Mark O'Donoghue in the back of Mick Keogh as they come out onto the main straight, grabbing third gear. Keogh glued to the mirrors as they go by us. And the Dent Magic car trying to have a go. James Byrne on the outside. They're 3 abreast. Coming onto the bridge now. Keogh as late as he can on the brakes. Just manages to hold him off. But James Byrne outbreaks everyone. He's on the outside though. Can he make up one place? O'Donoghue doesn't want to let him by. He can do. James Byrne, great stuff with the Dent Magic car.
Sean McGovern, fastest lap. The track is getting drier, there's no doubt about that. Gap between the front 2 down to less than a second now at 0.8. Johnny Whelan in third, 2.3 seconds off the front 2.
Mark O'Donoghue fights back and gets back past James Byrne there. He sat around the outside of Campion Corner, which is brave stuff. Front 3 are together now, are they? Yeah, Rob Barrable has let his dad by. So Rob Barrable now has let the dad by into second place. It's rear gunner time, I think, for Rob Barrable as Whelan begins to close up. So this is like Formula 1 stuff, isn't it? Rob Barrable now has let Michael Barrable through to get championship points. Johnny Whelan, I don't think, will be let by just as easily now. 22, Michael Barrable leads. Rob Barrable in second place. And the charging Johnny Whelan, danger, danger. In third place, John Kenny.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this one. We knew fine well that he was going to let him by, let the father go off, because he is in championship contention, as you say. Whelan has a little look down that outside, maybe a little switch back here. It's a little tight corner. He's gone down for the inside. Johnny Whelan, can he get and stick there? But no, he's closed the door on him. This is going to be a good battle to the end. We've got 6 minutes to go. This could be fun and frantic.
Well, that's good stuff by Whelan, because they had a separate driver's briefing for the Zetec. There's been a lot of argy-bargy, but it's not really intentional. In most cases, mid-grid, over-enthusiasm, and they had, I think, Noel Roddy down there from driver liaison and from disciplinary, and he was explaining to them that you can't charge down the inside of 7B. We had a lot of stuff there before. Whelan bearing that in mind and backed out of it, but Whelan has got incredible racecraft. Rob Barrable, one of the best race drivers in the paddock, so this is going to be a good battle between them. Rob will do anything to try and stop Johnny Whelan getting back, but Johnny can be inventive in a Holstein manner with his manoeuvres. He'll be trying outside, inside, switchbacks, everything he can. Michael Barrable just got the head down trying to get away from this out front.
5.5 minutes to go. We'll see the gap between the leader, Michael Barrable, and Rob as they pass by the tower now. And the gap is 1.7 seconds. Nothing between Whelan and Rob Barrable. And McGovern is stuck in another fastest lap in 4th.
Warning flag below us there for somebody. I'm not sure. We'll see the number in a moment. Looks like they're showing it to the whole field. They're waving it now. It's either Fish or Shamley, I think, by the look of it. Let's see the number. can't quite see the number on that. Hopefully they lead it up against the Armco. They do. It's number 33. It's Caleb Shanley getting a warning flag there from the officials. Just we're watching your driving.
Sean McGovern, the first one into the 220s that last lap. He's the fastest lap so far, 224. The leaders, Michael Barrable, 221, 222 from Rob, and then Johnny, 221. So McGovern is still thereabouts.
Shanley's come in, John. Look, he's a novice. He shouldn't have come in. That's just a warning flag. You don't have to come in with that flag. Sorry about that, John. Actually, if you look at Keith Dawson, he's matched Sean McGovern's fastest lap to within a fraction, and now he's having a go. So he's got every bit as much pace as McGovern has. But Caleb Shanley doesn't have to come back in. That was just a warning flag. It's a black flag that you need to come in for, our mechanical defect flag, as we learned yesterday.
Well, listen to the driver's briefing. You're told all this kind of stuff. It's a black flag. You must come in. You get a warning flag, and then a black flag. You must come in. But a warning flag is telling you that there's something going on between the other races out in the track. You do not have to come in on a warning flag. You're right.
McGovern getting a little bit sideways there. Oh, he's firing the car around. Dawson trying to get up the inside. It's very slippy at 7A and B, guys, in case you didn't know. And this time Dawson tries to get up the inside. A squeeze from McGovern. Great young racer, McGovern, as well. Great to have him out in this class again. Haven't seen him this year. He registered earlier on in the year and came out for this race, but it is great to see a Morgan Dempsey running that car, and he goes so well in it. And now Keith Dawson with a bit of work to do to get by him. Dawson's not showing the domination he had in the dry conditions, but certainly he's very, very quick in this one. Whelan again with a couple of purple sectors up front.
Just under 3.5 minutes to go, and Whelan with the two Barrables in front. It's the battle for fourth between McGovern and Dawson. Battles all the way down the field as well, but the front three pretty much conjoined now, and Michael leading Rob with that position in between himself and Johnny Whelan. Interesting to see how we got on in the last couple of laps, because Whelan will not be content with just third place.
Fastest lap for Whelan, locks the rear, he fires the car in. You can see him through the windscreen, the aggression with which he flicks the car in. That's trying to unsettle the back to kill the understeer. Johnny Whelan really has the hang of driving these front wheel drive Zetecs, but the Barrables are in bother here, and Rob is closing down Michael, and Johnny Whelan's quicker than both of them last time round. So we've still got 2 minutes 41 to run, so maybe another lap after this one. Michael Barrable now looking like a maximum points haul, which he needs to restore his championship lead. He had a strong championship lead about 3 meetings ago, but he had a couple of instances with Whelan, and as a result really poor points finishes, and that dropped him. Well, it just cut his lead is what it did. But here we go once again. Keith Dawson driving up alongside McGovern. McGovern back at him on the brakes, though down the inside. Oh, they're staying. That's good hard racing. They stay apart. It looks like they were going to cannon into each other there, John, but they're giving each other just about. There you are. That's just about a Zetec rumor. Just as I say it, they come together with elbows, but they both back away from it. So there's no real damage done. There's nobody getting turned around. That's the kind of racing you want to see.
Absolutely. McGovern, actually, you can see the wing mirror is got a little tap going into that Brewstone corner the previous time. He's going back at him now. Out towards Lola corner they go, and down towards 7A and 7B. He's got the inside line. If he can hold that, he should retake that place. Yeah, he's in a good position there, and he's going to retake it.
That's great racing between these two. It's the way it should be. McGovern and his, looking for a switchback is Keith Dawson. All he gets is an armful of opposite lock, but he holds it beautifully, and they're both on the power now and away back up the hill. That's an absolutely cracking dice. Speaking of cracking dices, Whelan says, "How are you, Rob?" And Rob's going, "Come on, Dad." Moving along a bit. These three are absolutely flying, but Whelan has now caught Rob Barrable again.
Good racing this up the front now. Michael leading still, and Robert in between. The meat and the sandwich between himself and Johnny Whelan. McGovern in third, Dawson in fourth, and then Dawson in fifth. They're coming through the shot in the background. Whelan takes a different line, tries maybe the switchback, or is he going to go around the outside? This is the switchback. It is down towards the inside. He goes. If he can drag his car to the right hand side, he would have had a drag race between himself down and Barrable down the main straight, but he's going to go the difficult route round the outside. Yeah,
the cars are too equally matched in a straight line for that to work. He didn't actually get a drive off the corner. Rob Barrable controlling that beautifully. They're staying apart on the brakes down into Max's corner. Rob Barrable doing it to perfection. You can see him looking at the mirrors. He's watching exactly what Johnny is doing, because he'll know that Johnny's got all the tricks. These two are still going at it. O'Donoghue just ahead of Mick Keogh. That's another cracker of a battle. And then it's Phil Lawless next up, and then James Byrne, I think, and Ian Fishburne.
Fastest lap of the race has gone to Johnny Whelan in the previous laps, the 2:19, and we can see how close he is to Rob Barrable. This is the last lap, 15 seconds to go. Here we go.
Yeah, Rob Barrable now is backing Johnny up a little bit, and Michael Barrable just flat out trying to get away from it. Johnny wheeling down the outside. Now he's got loads of tricks he can use here, but so has Rob Barrable. Rob is going to be uber defensive. At the apex, he'll be looking to see if Johnny switches to the inside or outside, going to try and get a switchback or a run around the outside. Both are an option in these Zetec Fiestas. They've so much grip. Good run up the hill from Johnny, but he's not being ruffled, is he, Rob? He's just staying on the inside there, and he's not going to lose out, I don't think, on traction on the way out. Can Whelan get up the inside here? I don't think so. He's having a real go, John.
He did, yeah. You could see what Rob Barrable did there. He just braked a little bit early, didn't he? And to make sure that Whelan was directly behind him, so the lights came on pretty spontaneously. At the same time into this 7A, 7B, Whelan tries around the outside. It's a long way to go around. If he try to switch back, and then can he do anything? But unfortunately, from his point of view, Rob just cuts that corner nicely. We're on the last lap. Looks like Michael is going to go on and win this race, but who's going to finish second?
Well, John, nothing that Johnny does would surprise you, but I don't, even with all Johnny's racecraft, I don't know if he can get by. Rob Barrable's doing this superb. He's watching him at the apex. So Whelan's going to have to get a run through Paddock and just wrong foot him on the brakes up into the final corner and try and get up the inside or right round the outside. And that's what he's going to try and do. Make no mistake now, as Rob Barrable in the mirrors, sitting back, looking very composed here. And they've all stayed apart, which is wonderful stuff. Barrable up over the curbs, Rob Barrable up over them, Johnny Whelan trying to get the run. Look at Rob, he looks like he's heading for the pit lane. Whelan goes to the outside again. He's late on the brakes. He gets up to the quarter panel almost. Now he'll try a switchback, or will he try and go the outside? He did this beautifully with Dawson the last time. He's got to run at Rob Barrable here. Can he go inside or outside? Michael Barrable's going to take the checkered flag in the win. Here comes Whelan on the outside. They're side by side. Michael Barrable takes it. Rob Barrable second. And Johnny Whelan third. Look at this, a drag race to the line. Is it going to be McGovern? It's going to be Dawson. What a race between those two guys. This has been a cracking Zetec race. Here's Andy Kavanagh coming down, just holding off Mark O'Donoghue, who had a cracking race. Then it is Mick Keogh. He'll be delighted with that one. Then it's two cars side by side, headlights ablaze. It's Fish, it's Byrne and Lawless. Who's it going to be? Oh, Phil Lawless moving over. You're not getting by me, lads. Lawless just from James Byrne, and Fishburne cracking stuff there as they go down to the first corner. And another one here, Gonzaga and Collie Barrable, I think it is. Who's that going to be? I think it's Gonzaga. It is indeed. Just pips Collie Barrable to the line. This is absolutely cracking stuff. Cole McLaughlin goes through. I think that's third place in the rookies for him, perhaps. There's Gonzaga. He's delighted. Look, hand in the air. Loves a good scrap in that Senna car. And then another one coming down to the line now. It's not just over yet. So that's McGivney just ahead. Sorry, John. McGivney just ahead of Roy Tobin. So nobody had a lonely race, John.
Certainly not. And Gonzaga finished in 12th place, September the 12th. I mean, that's amazing stuff. Started on the grid there as well. And congratulations as well to Mark O'Donoghue, finishing the 7th place and also posted the fastest lap of the race on the final lap. So Michael Barrable wins. Rob Barrable in second place. Good entertaining race between himself and John Whelan. Played that rear gunner race to effect to let the father pull away and collect maximum championship points. Johnny Whelan drove the wheels off that car, but couldn't get past Barrable. Good race between the front three, and Dawson and McGovern, and I should say battles all the way down the line. And well done, Mark O'Donoghue. Fastest lap on that last one because the track is starting to dry out.
Yeah, no mistakes from Michael Barrable. The two ladies crossing the line now, actually, and Kelsey Kirby just holding off in her first race weekend. Louise Lawler there, so Louise Lawler will be delighted with that one. And nothing in it, 0.2 as they go across the line. But yeah, good stuff. Barrable got the head down and won that one. Michael Barrable. Johnny Whelan drove really well. Loads of pace, had a real go, and he really did make Rob Barrable work for it there, trying everything. Almost got that run out of the final corner. We saw him do that to Alan Dawson to perfection the last time round. But some great races all the way down the grid. That really was worth watching, that Fiesta Zetec race. Really, really good race. I'm sure Neil Murphy, there he is, Siltek safety Neil Murphy at the top of the screen, will be delighted with that one. It was an absolute cracker of a race. Really, really worth watching. So Michael Barrable takes his championship points. There's the two ladies coming back in. That's Kelsey Kirby and Louise Hogan. He had a good scrap for side by side across the line, but we're almost ready to go racing again, because the say it's the Supercars and the ITCC cars are already being released from assembly and heading down the pit lane. We don't even get a chance to take a breath after that one, John, but absolutely fantastic entertainment.
Yeah, enjoyed that. They're back up to speed now as soon as they got the Fiestas in. Off they go with these combination of ITCC, the Supercars, and also the Seats up the front. Seats introduced to Ireland as the One Make Series a couple of years ago, or Murray won the inaugural championship. There's about 10 or 12 of them racing in one season here. Very impressive setup, and a chance to test one of these sequential shift cars. Pleasure to drive, actually. Bit of a lag on them, but certainly plenty of power under the right foot, and good fun cars to drive. So down they come to line themselves up on the grid for this 15-minute race. Digital Motorsports ICC or round 4 here at Mondello Park, the Irish Touring Car, Irish Supercars and ITCC Supercup, race 2. Race 17 of the weekend. Harry McGovern on pole alongside Ross Barnes on the outside of the front row. Second row is Jared Towell and Brian Berry, both in Seats. Seats continue with Graham McDonnell and Shane Murphy on row 3. Row 4, Barry English and Gary Corcoran. So we got 8 of these Seats up in front. Very impressive looking cars, and they always look really good on the grid. I think we might be missing one. Are we missing one of the Seats? No, we've got the 8. Yeah, I think outside of the 4th row we're missing one. I think Gary Corcoran's not there. He had a crash in race 1, so he's not out. So Alan Watkins then, the Irish Supercars, alongside Charlie Lennon, Gary Grattan and Arian Burton as they go away. As the Seats away first, Leo.
Yeah, great stuff. McGovern it is. It leads down. No, it's not. It's Ross Barnes who leads down to turn 1. Then it's McGovern and Berry on the inside, McDonnell on the outside, Shane Murphy and Towell, that is. And then that is Barry English. All the rest of them heading away together now. That's Supercars at Lennon leading on ITCC. With Traub, I think that is. Let's have a look. No, it's not. It's one of the Hondas down the outside. It's a mixed grid. Owen Drought in there in the Golf 2 going better than he was earlier. Struggled mightily with that car in the wet this morning. Then Adrian Dunn, the little Saxo Traub, and that incredibly quick Honda Integra. And then the winner this morning was Alan O'Neill in the rotary engined RX-7, sorry. Look at McGovern now having a go at Barnes as they head out to the outside and up the hill. Big gap. We missing somebody already? The Seats. Sure. Oh, there is. Murphy, whatever's held them up there, there's a huge gap inside the first lap.
Oops.
Oh, off goes Barnes.
Oh no.
Should be able to get it back on.
Oh, he worked so hard to get the lead there, Barnes, then he threw it all away going into the Lola corner, drifted away to the left-hand side, and let McGovern and Barry through, so he'd be really annoyed with himself on that. He's got a lot of work to do now to catch up. Another 15-minute race this, and there you see Barnes in the background. He's already been caught by Towell and Murphy.
So Murphy has 310 brake horsepower in the ECU, McDonnell 320, Brian Berry on 330, and all the rest have 340 brake horsepower.
Tis races within races. We saw the supercars and the ITCC cars going off together, so I'll try and keep an eye on both of those for you. This is the Seats up front, coming up to complete their first lap, and you can see the drying track now. They're getting a dry line up towards the Southside Motor Factors corner for the very first time. Very heavy torrential rain earlier on today. We're perhaps lucky that we had the boss cars out first. They were able to sweep the track. And subsequently, we've had STs and the Fiestas as well, and now the Seats up front. And it is McGovern who's gone through, but the quickest lap has gone to Greg McDonald from that standing start.
They come back down towards us, so big gaps inside that first lap, whatever happened. Here come the ITCC cars, and the first of those is Stuart Curran and Owen Drought in the Golf, and it's Alan O'Neill and then Adrian Dunn, and Watkins leading the supercars. Oh no, sorry, Linnane leading the supercars well down the road. So McGovern has 20 brake horsepower more. They've got they've got ECUs in these cars. They swap around, so if you're on pole, you go back down to from 340 to 310. They're just plug in, plug out. They've all got it written on them, and basically, if you're at the front, you'll have less power than the guys behind you, so tactics become involved. Do you want the low power ECU, or do you want the win? Do you want to wait till the last race of the day? It's great stuff. It's mixed it up quite well. But like any thing that equalises racing, it was a little bit controversial at first, but it has worked quite well. It's allowed people to have a win maybe in race 2 that wouldn't have beforehand. So great stuff. And McGovern looking good here, making no mistakes, is he?
No, just when he's where Barnes is in the background. There he is, third place, and in fact he's in lonely third place. So he's starting to pull away now from Murphy and Tohill. So can he do anything about the front two? Well, we should find out. It's 11 minutes and 30 seconds to go. So still plenty of time to go in this race, and time for Barnes. You can stick in a quick one to close in the front two, but the sector times, quickest one's McGovern in that last 2 sectors.
There's Owen Drought, the Owen Drought car sales golf. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4 heading off in the background in the little Saxo was Adrian Dunn, but this is the top 3 we're looking at now, just heading away in the ITCCs, coming back up towards us. There we go, it's Curran leading, then it's Drought in the Golf, then next up is the little Mazda, I think it is, isn't it? It is the RX-7 of Alan O'Neill, so it's Curran, Drought and O'Neill. And Drought under big pressure here. That car is so quick in the wet. The little camouflaged Mazda, John, you wouldn't expect it to be quick in the wet conditions. You think a front-wheel drive car would be quicker, but this morning he was on pole by 3 or 4 seconds in ITCC, so great to see it. And Owen Drought with his mirrors full of this camouflage car. I think they're both catching Curran in front, though. It could be anyone here for this ITCC win.
Yeah, that's some livery, that, isn't it? The little Saxo you just mentioned there going off down at 7A. I know that place well, going off there. You just inside your helmet, you're going, oh, come on, turn into the corner. This is a drag race.
Yeah, Drought losing out to the rotary engine Mazda there. It wasn't all about traction either, it was just brake horsepower. The Mazda just drove up alongside him. There's Adrian Dunn in the AG electrical car. Such a shame. He went so well earlier. Drought going to have a rethink, but again, look at the traction of the Mazda out of the corner, and he's going to blast away from Owen Drought now and up to the car in front. So yeah, he's just incredibly gone by their traction out of the final corner. I wonder, have we got a mixture of wets and slicks here, and are we going to see some changes as this goes on in those cars, in the ITCC cars, because that Mazda flying up through them. But as you said, there is a dry line, John. The Seats are showing us that.
Yeah, McGovern's posted the fastest sector time on this lap ahead of McDonald. So Barnes has made no impression so far. At the end of the first lap, there's very little between them, less than a second, and Barnes down in third. First of the third place drivers in the Seat class, 7 seconds in a drift. Behind him is Shane Murphy, then Tola English and Berry. Charlie Linnane, these are supercars, and it's Curran, Drought and O'Neill, the 1, 2, 3 in the ITCC. We've got less than 10 minutes to go now. Back up to the back of the paddock they come, and to Southside Motor Factors corner for this time, with McGovern sticking in 2 quick sector times there. Quickest so far. Less than a second separated in the last time around as they come past the start-finish line. And the gap just opened to 1.2 seconds. Barnes was 7 seconds a rear in third the last time around. On this occasion, he's 9.6, so he's losing time.
Big lunge from Brian Berry down the inside of Barry English there, beautifully timed down the inside. Just came out at the last minute on the brakes, was slightly later, and it just gets by. I'm not sure what the brake horsepower situation is like those 2 ECUs, but certainly Berry, it was a cracking move on the brakes, don't get me wrong. There's the ITCC battle. It has closed up. And but certainly the Mazda is out front now, so it's going to be a battle between Curran and Drought, I feel, for second place there. And Honda looks very soft as it changes gear from second to third, but certainly, like most of the Hondas that race at Mondello, John, it's not short of straight line speed when it came out of the final corner. So good battles in the ITCC there. The leader of the Seats is Harry McGovern. The leader of the Supercars is Charlie Lenan, and Alan O'Neill in the Mazda just leading the ITCC crew. So I think that ECU hampering Graham McDonald a little bit now as McGovern begins to eke away. As John said, 1.2 seconds the gap last time around, and McGovern again with purple sectors showing up. When we say purple sectors, we mean we've got individual timing sectors. It means he's been quickest through that section of the track. It's generally an indication that a driver is about to set a fastest lap if they can line them all up. But certainly McGovern pulling away out front now. So Ross Barnes in third, Shane Murphy in fourth. We see this quite a lot with Shane Murphy. He'll dominate race one and then just be pegged back completely by the ECU in race two. And even Shane Murphy can't do anything about it. So he's back in fourth place, lapping some 3 seconds a lap slower than Harry McGovern.
Just over 7 minutes to go then, so past the midway point of this combo of 3 races within one. Again, 2 quick sector times there from Harry McGovern. Hasn't quite got it all together to perhaps get the fastest lap so far. See as they pass through us. Yeah, he has. There you go.
Nope.
Is it McGovern? No, in fact, it's McDonald.
McDonald took it there. He came back with a cracking last sector, and as we were talking, closed right up. So McDonald hasn't given up yet despite the brake horsepower deficiency. He's going nicely around the twiddly bits.
Yeah, we might have a race here yet between McGovern and McDonald. Ross Barnes is dropping away, still in 12 seconds off the pace, so he's got his own private battle going on between himself and Shane Murphy. But McGovern and McDonald, a bit of a race yet between these two, considering that last time just jumped in and said McGovern had actually posted the fastest lap, and right behind him McDonald is actually the one who did so on the previous lap. So we got 1.2 previous lap, it's now 1.1, so still a way to go, over 6 minutes. Charlie Nanan still leading the Irish Supercars. Alan O'Neill, Stuart Curran and Drought, the 1, 2, 3 in the ITCC. Penultimate round of the series, isn't it, Leo? We're back here again in October for the final rounds.
Yeah, 1st and 2nd of October is the final round, and that'll be when all the championships. Well, a lot of the championships are decided this weekend, but all the rest of them, the Fiestas and all those ones will be sorted out of the next round, and there'll be celebrations or commiserations afterwards. Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be streamed live again on the Sunday. But we're coming down to hopefully the weather conditions will be half decent. Yesterday, as we said, was absolutely beautiful down here. It's okay now, but this morning was really, really tough. You just keep feeling for the marshals, and I'm not just saying that for the sake of it. They don't even get a chance to dry out at lunchtime, John, when inside the 45 minutes or whatever they get. You get absolutely soaked. They're proper enthusiasts, those guys. And
girls.
girls.
Give a lot of credit, of course, don't we? Because we wouldn't be running without the marshals and the volunteers. So our tip of hats to them. Thanks to their efforts, we're racing this weekend, even in those wet conditions.
McGovern takes fastest lap that time back. As you said, it was Graham McDonald last time round. McGovern's done it now and he's opened the gap, but not by much, 1.7 seconds. Ross Barnes all on his own in second place, then Murphy, then Toll, then Berry, who might be closing down. I think Berry might be closing down Toll, and Murphy possibly. We'll check the lap times there. And actually then it's Barry English, and then not too far back from that is Charlie Lanane.
Just pretty well spread out now. Berry's got the fastest lap there, actually. Just stuck one in.
Yeah.
Gone into, for the first time for him, under 2 minutes.
58. Good stuff from Berry. Matching the leader. A couple of 10th quicker, actually. But we did say he looks quick and he's catching those cars in front.
4 minutes to go then. I've got 2.5 more laps, sort of, yeah. Let's try and work this out. Yeah, we will. 2 more laps after this, I think. We're close, we'll find out in a few moments' time. Down into 7A, B they go. That's Saxo still parked there, is it?
Yeah, that's you need a shovel and spade to get that out, I think.
A very big shovel, a very big spade.
Yeah, no action at the front of this one now as McGovern just eases through the right and then left. Still trying hard, though. You can see by the bounces of the car is Graham McDonald.
back at the paddock now. We're just going to keep an eye on the time here. 3:20 to go. Should get another 2 laps in here. As they climb towards Southside Motor Factors corner, we will. They've been lapping in the 2-minute mark, so just over 3 minutes to go. So we will get another 2 laps in here. Here comes our leader, McGovern. 1.7 seconds the lead last time around. It's gone out to 2.2.
Those three are definitely closing up. Shane Murphy being closed down by Toll and Berry marching up behind the two. In fact, Shane Murphy slowing on the main straight. Problem for Shane Murphy. Toll and the Kyle Marcaris car just blast by him. And Berry closing them down too. Fastest lap to Brian Berry again that time round. And it's 57. The leaders are 50. Okay, I suspect that Brian Berry is on slicks. And the leaders may or may not be on wets, because at 57 the leaders are doing 2 minutes, 2 minutes 0.8. He's 3 seconds quicker than them suddenly. And Shane Murphy, the way he lost traction, he's certainly, I think Shane Murphy's on wets, John,
yeah,
and closing him down. That's what it is. Watch this for traction up the hill. Here comes Berry, and Murphy's not going to fight it. That's exactly what's happened here. In fact, he's offline, probably looking for some wet track to cool down those wets, which are probably starting to chunk, which means they start to they overheat, and you lose big chunks of rubber out of them, and you lose all your grip. So that would explain Berry's pace. He's got heat into these slicks. He's fastest man on track. Here he is now, the yellow car coming up the hill. He's way quicker than the leaders that time round.
Good spot, Leo. There's obviously the difference. See the track drying out there.
We should have guessed that on lap 1, John. Do you remember all of a sudden a huge gap opened between the Seats halfway around the first lap?
Yeah.
So it must have been marginal early on slicks. Now they've got heat into the slicks. They're starting, and so has that car. That's slicks as well, I think, is Toll, but he's been closed down by Berry. And that will have put a bit of wet grass on his back tyre, so he'd want to watch himself turn it into the next right-hander. It could let go again.
Good bit of rallycross in that, wasn't it?
He held it beautifully, didn't he?
Yeah. He's lucky he's got a bit of runoff area there to keep it in, because if he hit the gravel, he'd have been gone.
Yeah, Jared Toll, that is. Brian Berry, purple sectors everywhere now as these slicks come up to heat the Yokohama tyres. He'd be loving this. No better feeling than when slicks start to come in and everyone around you's on wets. And again, straight off, and Berry takes another place. He held it well. It didn't go round on him, but he just all the space and a little bit more. And he may be able to hold off Shane Murphy now as they battle their way around the final corner. But Berry, look at this. Let's see what he can do this time. The leader's just about under 2 minutes. Let's see what Berry can do. 57.2 that time round for Brian Berry. He's up to 4th place, and he's looking for 3rd, is he? No, he's not. Sorry, he's not. He's too far back from Ross Barnes, isn't he?
Yeah.
No, 2 seconds in the final lap, and he was
Oh, I might do it, yeah.
3 seconds quicker. So let's keep an eye on Brian Berry in this one, because I think we're probably on the final. Here it is. Great stuff. They must have heard me. That's Berry now closing down Ross Burns for a podium position. So I think Sean and Siobhan Woods will be loving this one. That's one of their favourite drivers, Brian Berry. They ran him for many years, and Berry going beautifully. Gets a great run up the hill. Barnes stays to the inside though, and surely try and fight him off here, but Berry will have so much extra grip. Barnes goes in late on the brakes. Maybe it's going to be a switchback here. He should have more traction off the corner. He does. I was just looking for a space. He has, and just drives up alongside. Oh, Barnes giving the big squeeze on the way up the hill though, and fights him off. So Berry going to have to rethink that one. But this is the one where the traction counts. The big, long right-hander. We've seen that all day. Surely Berry will get a run at him here.
Barnes went off there, didn't he, Leo, early in part of the race, and that cost him. But nicely through there. Up front, by the way, McGovern still leads McDonald, but this is the real battle of the race between Barnes and Berry, and into the little complex there for the last time they go.
Yeah, opposite lock that time for Berry. He's having to hang on to it himself there, all of a sudden not looking quite as comfortable perhaps, but he's still having a go at Barnes. They're absolutely together through Bahrain's Bend for the last time. Clock is at 0. The leader is heading up to the final corner, but that's a cracking battle for 3rd place there. Through the long left-hander. Berry's got alongside, but here's our winner, Harry McGovern. Great stuff from him. The checkered flag waves. He'd be delighted, as indeed will Rod. 2nd place is McDonald, but let's see who's going to be third.
Barnes has lost 3rd. Up to the final corner they go. We obviously had to concentrate on the leader there, but he's lost 3rd place, and Berry get past him, and he takes that 3rd place at the podium. Well, what a terrific race it turned out to be in the end. We actually thought they were stretched out far too long there, Leo, but we got a really good battle for that 3rd place, didn't we? Well done to Berry. Barnes just couldn't hold him off on that last lap.
Yeah, to Brian Berry or whoever made the inspired tyre choice and his crew, thank you very much, because you livened everything up. There's a bit of an ITCC battle still coming.
within races, of course. All the
There we go.
Supercups are through.
That swapped on the last lap there. This is for second place in ITCC because the Mazda's taking the win out of our view. But Owen Drought is going to take second place, I think. Watch the Honda in a straight line. Oh, a lot of understeer in the Honda again. Wonder, is that similar stuff? Is that wets that are gone off, maybe, do you think? There's the checkered flag for Owen Drought, car salesman from Ross Cray in Tipperary. So Alan O'Neill wins in the RX-7. Great win from him. Owen Drought climbs to second place in the Golf GTI, and Stuart Curran losing out in the last lap in the 2.4 Integra. Drought just fighting his way by him. Then Gary Grattan will be next up in the supercars. Traub way back. There he is there. I'd imagine that's a wrong tyre choice, John. He's normally right at the front of Irish touring cars. So obviously there were tyre choices we hadn't copped until later on, until they started to make a big difference.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that. I thought the supercars up the front, or Super Cup cars at the front, the Seats would have been just driving away from each other, but the tyre choice has made a huge difference, and Berry got past Barnes on that very last lap and took the third place on the podium. Well done to Harry McGovern. Convincing win in the end, 3.5 seconds ahead of McDonnell, and Berry up to third place, takes that third place on the podium. Charlie Lanane wins the Irish Supercars, Watkins in second place, and Gary Grattan in third in the ITCC. It was O'Neill, Drought and Curran, the 1, 2, 3 there.
So say it, Supercup's back in, and ITCC cars and supercars all back in for technical checks and etc. And meanwhile, while we're waiting for the HRCA cars, the historic cars, to be released. Great race from them earlier on. They've got race 2 coming up. We will take a quick commercial break.
Well, we've only just announced it, but everybody is talking about this car behind me. It's the Junior Mini Challenge for the ICCR here at Mondello Park. An exciting new saloon car series from 14 to 17-year-old drivers. Lift off, oversteer, bumper to bumper racing. We're going to have it all this year at Mondello Park. It's the new Junior Mini Challenge.
left, onto loose. Yeah, that's good. Good drive. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Rev it up, rev it up. George, go, go, go. One right, immediately followed by a 5 right. Keep it lit, keep it lit, keep it lit. Come on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Come on, come on, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Every day is a chance to make this world your own. Just watch out for those you share it with. My world, my station, my music.
Welcome back. It's HRCA time. They're already out on their green flag lap. As you can see, a great variety of cars. The Bubble Arch Mark 1 Escort right at the back there. So Dave Griffin, it is. He won the first race, just managing to hold off Jackie Corcoran, who was so impressive in that big heavy Sunbeam Tiger with the big 5-litre V8 up front. Then Stephen Kelly in the little Malloch Mark 23. Then David Kelly, Garrett Thompson, Tommy Doherty, Stephen Doyle, Johnny Flynn, Liam Ruth, and Richard Bateman. I think we don't have them all out. I do see Liam Ruth back out. I don't see Tommy Dock in the Capri. It's coming up here. It's actually qualifying times coming up on our screen, so it's not triggering as they go out the pit lane. So we're missing Richard Bateman, unfortunately, in the Lotus Elan. They were here testing those guys on Friday. Had a quick chat with them. They're great old form. They had a Lotus Cortina here too, and a beautiful Elan. But they did qualify the car this morning, but then nothing, didn't see him in the first race or second, unfortunately. So HRCA, Historic Racing Car Association cars down. Look at this for a variety of cars. On pole position, Dave Griffin, real quick driver in a Zetec engine, Crosley 9S. The Bill Griffin Motors cars, the car superstore on the N7. And alongside him, Jackie Corcoran in that rumbling Sunbeam Tiger. A very, very potent motor car indeed. One of the quickest cars in the straight line in the paddock, never mind in the class. And the little Malak 47 of Stephen Kelly, 26 is David Kelly. And David Kelly makes a cracker, as does the pole man. But the second, Crosley from the outside the front row, makes a good start. Let's watch them when they come down towards us into turn one. No, Jackie Corcoran has rebuffed that. It gets the nose ahead. Corcoran doesn't usually make good starts. He's proven me wrong with everything today. He was incredibly quick in the wet as well in the Sunbeam Tiger. So great stuff from Jackie Corcoran. But it is Dave Griffin, I think, who leads. It is as they come out of Campion Corner. Second is Corcoran. Watch that car in a straight line. If he can get traction, as he does. And David Kelly being wrong-footed, I think, in the background. Somebody getting alongside him out of our shot. But it is these four. Is that Stephen Doyle? It's Stephen Doyle, the little Elan, with a cracking run through Campion Corner. He gets alongside the Crosley and just takes that place. So great stuff. First four beginning to pull away. But Jackie Corcoran, it's looking ominous here. He looks very, very composed in the Tiger. Normally that car takes a long time to get its brakes and tyres up to temperature. But certainly it's very, very quick straight away now. Oh, he's alongside. They're almost touching. Griffin goes back at him on the brakes. Jackie Corcoran right round the outside of Dave Griffin. And around goes Dave Griffin. And backwards off onto the gravel. Stephen Doyle goes off. They're all off. There's two Crosleys gone around. This never happens in HRCA racing. But they're beached in the gravel on the outside. So just wrong foot. It's still obviously very, very slippy up there. Back end let go. And I think Griffin is stuck in the gravel. The other cars are away. I'm not sure they'll be able to keep going with his car there. Maybe they'll be able to recover it because it's a long lap. But that car is at a very, just where you come in on the right on the outside of the gravel there. That's Stephen Kelly, Johnny Flynn, David Kelly in the Crosley, McCormick, Garrett Thompson, and all the rest coming through. We are still running. I don't see any sign of, maybe he's got going out of our view. I'm not so sure, but there's no red flags showing just yet. So it looks like we're racing. What a move from Jackie Corcoran. No, are they looking for a red flag below me? Not just yet. Safety car boards, I think there they are. The BMW Ireland safety car. Thank you very much, Director. Great shot of the M3 competition just being dispatched in the pit lane. So that car will be recovered. Corcoran goes by. He sees the board, lifts off. Everybody in the whole track knows because you can hear the V8 just as a rumble stopping as he lifts off. But that's they'll be led around for a couple of laps. You see Griffin there. He was motioning to be pushed out of the gravel. But I don't know if they'll push him out and let him rejoin. It would be good for us if they did because it would be highly entertaining if he started at the back. How quick are those guys there? Great work. They're so quick in these pickups, the snatch units, to get that car out there. I think they do park one of them at the school buildings out there. So I think they'll hook it up and get it towed back out. Tell them to straighten up the wheels. I don't think one man pushing is going to get that out. Here's a few more marshals coming, but might be quicker to hook a rope onto it. There we go. So BMW safety car leading them round. So Jackie Corcoran leading, Stephen Kelly next up in the Malak, David Kelly in the BMW powered seat. Oh, unfortunately, that's Liam Root, 41, the MG specialist from Greystones. Doesn't normally have problems with the car, but he had a problem earlier on and tried to get it fixed, but no, it looks like he's heading back into the pits. That's a pity. Would have been great to see him having a battle with Johnny Flynn. We always get great battles between Wolfgang Schnittger when he's out and Ed Reinhardt and all these guys in midgets. They're missing a few of them today, midgets and sprites. There we go, should get this car out, no problem at all. Indeed it does. Dave will be going right quick, unhook it, because here comes the safety car. The safety car is going to have to stop almost, I think. If Dave can unhook that quickly, he can get away here. The road is blocked effectively for the safety car, which has to come to a halt right beside them. So Dave will really want to get going here. The engine, I'm sure, is still running on that car. He's just gone a lap down if he can rejoin. I think he can rejoin, but let's have a look. It still should give us entertainment if that Crosley is all in one piece. I suspect it is. I think it's just back end let go and parked itself on the gravel. No way of getting out. Yeah, there we go. He's reversing out of it already. So this will be interesting stuff now. Dave Griffin in the Bill Griffin Motors car. He's absolutely fine. There's no problem with that car at all. Number 12, Dave Griffin. Crosley 9S sports racing car. John Kenny heading off. Thanks very much for joining us, John. Always great to have you here in commentary. Might see you at the next round.
Yeah, I'll definitely be here for the next round. Yeah, thanks very much, Leo. Pleasure.
As you say, John, more news in sport at 3. So great stuff. John Kenny heading off. Thanks for your help, John. So there's Dave Griffin. Gets back going again. Sure, he'll be trying to get some heat into those tyres. I think it's Avon ACB 10s they run on those cars. I'm not sure, but yeah, Dave right at the back. How long will that last? I wonder, can he catch Jackie Corcoran? Jackie had a good run on him up the outside, and then a big chop. Dave lifted off, and that just got the back of the Crosley a little bit loose. Jackie Corcoran weaving around from left to right now. He should be safe enough here. Stephen Kelly certainly won't have the brake horsepower to threaten him on the run to the line. So the BMW's pulled in, so it's up to Jackie when he decides to accelerate. He can slow them right down, but he's going to go now. And they've all left pretty big gaps. Stephen Kelly braking as late as he dares, and the Tiger's pretty much gone already. Dave Griffin can't pass his first car until they've gone across the line. Still well back, isn't he? Would have expected Dave Griffin to be on the back bumper of Thompson there, as Kelly tries to get two Kellys side by side, Stephen Kelly and David Kelly. David Kelly takes that place. The BMW engine quicker than the engine in the Mallock on the main straight. McCormick around the outside of Johnny Flynn in the Escort there. Like a scene from the 1970s at Mondello Park. Mark 1 Escort and an MG Midget. There's Jackie Corcoran in the Sunbeam Tiger. Oh, Kelly fancies his chances here. He looks quite racy, doesn't he, David Kelly? He wasn't happy with the car in the wet, but he looks a lot happier with it in the dry conditions. Wonder, can he have a go here? Then Stephen Kelly next up in the Mallock. Stephen Doyle, Padraig McCormick going nicely. Here comes Dave Griffin around the outside of Johnny Flynn at turn 3. McCormick next on his shopping list as he comes up the hill now and down towards Bridgestone Corner. Here he comes. Will he have a look around the outside? He'd want to be making these moves fairly quickly, Dave Griffin. Maybe he's a bit circumspect after that quick spin. He's looking for a gap at the inside here. Not sure where to go. Goes to the outside. Escort's not slow in a straight line, is it? The Crosley needed every little bit of its power to get by. And Dave perhaps a little bit earlier on the brakes than he might have been beforehand. So next on his shopping list will be the little Lotus Elan now of Stephen Doyle. Stephen Doyle, a hugely successful historic driver. Just having a run in this Elan. He raced a little red Elan here for many years. Many other cars, Porsches as well, and plenty of other machines. Here's Stephen Kelly in the Mallock. Stephen Doyle. And the second Crosley 9S of Dave Griffin. Griffin having a dive down the inside there. Doyle almost gives him the width of a Crosley, then decides, no, I don't think so. Into the apex, dancing the little Lotus around on the power there. Wonder which is quicker in a straight line. That Ford Escort is pretty quick, isn't it? It's hanging on to these two far more exclusive machines in front. Now we should be able to get by. Doyle goes to the inside knowing that the Crosley's going to be quicker, but the Lotus isn't slow and they're neck and neck as they go by us. But he has done enough. I think it gets on the brakes down into turn 1. Fastest lap is David Kelly, 2:04.583, which is 0.983. It's just 0.4 quicker than Jackie Corcoran that time around. The gap's at 2.7 seconds. Stephen Kelly there in the Mallock, unusual front-engine single-seater cars. We said earlier there was a class for them back in Mondello many moons ago and across the UK. They still run them in the UK. but unusual to see one of those cars here, although Alan Kessie did very successfully campaign it in 1973. Griffin's C73 car still has the lap record, I think, for the historic class. But Jackie Corcoran's still going quick up front, but the Crosley hasn't caught him just yet. We'll have a look at that when they cross the line this time round. We're just watching Stephen Kelly on his own. There's the Crosley 9S for the Gulf livery car of David Kelly. A couple of purple sectors there, but Jackie's pushing hard. Listen to the Tiger as it goes by. Glorious sound there. Difference. Well, David Kelly with fastest lap again. He has gone 6/10 quicker than the Tiger. There's nothing in it really, but he's got the gap down to 2 seconds now. Looks less, doesn't it? Oh, he's beginning to drive the Crosley on. You can see the back of the car working, painting a big 11 on the track there, putting down a bit of rubber on the way out of turn 1. So Jackie Corcoran really trying hard here. He's massively competitive. Jackie Corcoran doesn't like losing and has won many, many races over the years in historic racing. He's got a new challenge this year from these sports racing cars, so he's changed to the red car. He's got 2 cars, both equally potent, but I think the red one might be slightly quicker. He's been using that car lately, but certainly I'm sure he's been breathing on it again. He's a great man to develop and set up a racing car, as you can see, because for a big V8 car, it's got traction and poise, and it's not just a straight line machine at all. David Kelly now going beautifully in that Crosley behind him. But it's a fastest sector showing up. Sector 1 fastest to Stephen Kelly, but Sector 2 fastest to Jackie Corcoran. He's beginning to get away a little bit. Certainly on that part of the track. Look at the gap just opening up as it dries out even more and more. Interesting, the gap was so big on the back straight, but the Crosley's a little bit quicker through 7A and B and should certainly be quicker to the right and left here. But nothing in it. More sectors for Jackie again, 2 of them I think. The gap could be opening out a little bit here as they go across the line. As we said, it was 2.0 seconds, but it's only going to be fractions. There's nothing in it between these two. That's where the battle is. Oh, Jackie up over the curb like a touring car, not a historic car. Lifting the inside front wheel briefly in the air, centre of the road as he comes down through the gears. Gets it turned in and then feeds on the power, and we hear that glorious V8 rumble. The Crosley twitching as David Kelly tries so hard behind him. 3-3. Nothing in it. Literally not even a tenth in it between them that time round, so no difference in the gap. Again down to turn 3, Jackie Corcoran. The rest of them are spread out, but this is, if there's going to be a battle, this is where it'll be, as Kelly just tries to carry as much speed as he can through there. Try and get up onto the tail of the Tiger, but all his good work when he gets to here is undone when the Tiger is, I can't believe how well that Tiger handles on the way into the S's there. Just turns in beautifully. It did the same in the wet actually. Jackie Corcoran getting the power on, but the Crosley's close, but on the long back straight he certainly won't be able to do anything about that Sunbeam Tiger. He's looking for a clean run through here to try and get as close as he can before the power of the Tiger comes into play. But certainly Jackie makes no mistakes through there and now has the throttle wide open on the big V8 on that long back straight. Just eases away again. He's not early on the brakes either. As Jackie gets number 23 slowed down. The Crosley is quicker through these two though, through 7A. Clearly quicker, and again 7B. And that's as close as he's been now. He's almost within striking distance. And Jackie knows it and goes to the centre of the road. There won't be any gap there for you. And then through the right-hander, back again through the left, and now it's game on. Kelly trying to get a long late apex there to get a run at him on the way down, but Jackie's got that covered. There is no gap down the inside. The Crosley right on the back bumper now of the Sunbeam Tiger. This is good stuff from Kelly. He really having a go. Jackie Corcoran having to compose him. Corcoran defending now. That'll make the Crosley quicker through the corner, but he should be safe in the straight line. So quick is Kelly right up onto the back bumper. Doesn't know where to go, and the Tiger just pulls away again on the straight. It's so fast in a straight line. Look at the gap opening up, and make no mistake, that Crosley is a very, very fast car. So Jackie Corcoran using all the power of the Tiger that time round. They're down to a 2:03 now. Fastest lap, in fact, is David Kelly with a 2:03.1, 2:03.3 for Jackie. And it's been a change for third place because Dave Griffin has got by Stephen Kelly. Oh, he's still a lap down though, isn't he? He is. Let's not forget that. Oh, Stephen Kelly not giving up, trying to get in behind him. Doesn't quite have the straight line power. Got a great run off the last corner though. Once again, here's this battle for the lead, and Kelly looking to run around the outside, but Jackie Corcoran, as Rob Barrable did, just making sure there aren't any gaps on the inside or outside, stays to the right here as the Crosley gets a run. But he just hasn't got the power to get alongside on the way up the hill. And the Tiger is so quick on the back straight. He's quicker there at the apex though, but it's beginning to dance around the back of the Crosley. Wouldn't want to be standing on the power any earlier than that. And the Tiger has great traction on the way out onto the back straight. Not just power, it's very composed off that long Lola corner. But 7A and B is really where you see the Crosley do its work. Way quicker through the first apex. And again through the second apex here and up the hill. That's again, last time round we said it was as close as he got. He's right there again. But where does he go? How do you have a go? It's hard to know. Through the right of Brains Bends on the left. This is the last lap, just 2-3 corners to go. Having a real go, but Jackie Corcoran looking very composed. Crosley goes high and wide, looking for a late apex and a better run. He does get a good run on the way out, and he's right with him. Paddock corner now, who's going to be quicker through here? Can he do anything up into the final corner? He's really having a go, David Kelly. Corcoran leads, Kelly second. Checkered flag is ready below us. This is great stuff. Jackie Corcoran goes so defensive down the inside. The Crosley's high and wide. It's going to be quicker on the runs through the corner, but surely can't get by the Tiger on the run to the line. Here they come neck and neck. What a race from the HRCA. Jackie Corcoran takes the checkered flag, but only just from David Kelly. That was an absolute cracker of a race. Well done to both of those guys. Different strengths and different parts of the track, and makes it absolutely fantastic to watch. There's nobody, unsurprisingly, anywhere near them. Well, in relative terms, there is a good scrap for second place coming to the line now though. Final corner, and it's Stephen Kelly has just got passed by Stephen Doyle, so the two Stephens having to go, but Doyle has got by somewhere on the last lap in the little Lotus Elan. He's going to head the Malloch to the line, or is he? He's just about got enough power to get by, and he has done. Then it's the Malloch, and then a lap down is Dave Griffin. Won't be too happy about that. Good battle here though between the Escort and the MGB GT V8. There are battles all the way down the grid in this one. Gareth Thompson should have the ponies here to hold back that Escort in the straight line. Indeed he does. The big V8 just blasts away, and that gets him that place. So great entertainment from HRCA. So the car's already back in the paddock for that one, but really, really good entertainment in both races from the HRCA's. Jackie Corcoran really at the top of his game, driving superbly. They're just being waved straight through. So Stephen Doyle in the little Elan there. Stephen Kelly in the Griffin, car he's just bought. Dave Griffin being pulled in, probably because he's had an off. They'll just have a quick check around the car. That's exactly what they're doing. Gareth Thompson. McCormick going through. That's about it. Next up, it's going to be Apache Tire Equipment Junior Minis. So as the Historics head back into the paddocks just before the Junior Minis are released out, we'll take a quick commercial break.
Square left onto the loop. Yeah, that's good. Good drive. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Rev it up, rev it up. George, go, go, go. One right, immediately followed by a 5 right. keep it lit. Come on, keep on. Keep on. Come on, keep going.
So we're back on track. Apache Tire Equipment Junior Mini Challenge. They had a pretty spaced out race, let's be honest, earlier on. It was a great race here between them yesterday. The front two tore away together, but the second and third did the same again. So Cody Keogh and David Travers were together, and then Holly Dunyan and Luke Marmion. But certainly in the rain this morning, they just all parted ways for the entire duration. And it wasn't the most exciting race around, but I think in dry conditions this one might be a little bit better. But certainly Cody Keogh was untouchable in wet conditions. David Travers yesterday was the winner. He's on pole position for this one in the Mondello Scholarship car. Then Cody Keogh, then Luke Marmion, and then Holly Dunyan. Holly Dunyan was really impressive yesterday in dry conditions, but she struggled mightily this morning, getting straight from karts into a race car in wet conditions. Not particularly easy for anyone to do, but yesterday very, very impressive stuff. Almost stole that third place on the line from Dunyan, but certainly it was a lot harder for her this morning. So it's still a little bit greasy out there, but I think it's a lot drier than it was this morning. We can certainly say that it was horrendous standing water conditions this morning for all these guys. In fact, the only one that looked at home, and it was Cody Keogh. He was absolutely firing the little mini around the place. But this might be a little bit more interesting. 1600cc R50 minis. They're about 120 brake horsepower. We run a championship map, so they're all the exact same. The scrutineers can read the map whenever they want. There aren't any mechanical modifications allowed. Use a Bilstein, standard Bilstein shock absorber, non-adjustable. They've run a body kit, as you can see, championship body kit, which is the back wing, the two skirts and the front bumper splitter. And after that, they're pretty standard. And around goes Holly Dunyan, the back end just getting away on cold tyres in the warm-up lap. And just doesn't look as comfortable with that car as she has done all day yesterday. But she's back on track, should make it up there. But yeah, still finding out it's quite greasy around there. She's weaving around. She'll know that from her karting, try and get a bit of heat into those tyres. Of course, with a front-wheel drive car, it's the back tyres you're trying to heat up on the warm-up lap, as opposed to the front. So you need to get some heat in the back tyres. You see the British touring car drivers doing it all the time. There's Holly Dunyan, established karter. She won a cadet novice championship before. She's gone well. She's just turned 14 recently, so only just eligible for these cars, Holly. And a great run yesterday, but as we said, did struggle this morning. So it'd be good to see her get a nice run now and get her confidence back up as they head back around. A wall weaving around. Toyo 888 tyres on these cars. So they're a road tyre, but they're more a track day tyre, really. And they work pretty well. They're capable of doing pretty good lap times. And as you can see, they look absolutely fantastic, these cars. You can buy a donor car for anywhere from a done deal is where you want to go for one of those, anywhere around €1,000. There are part-built cars available. Mickey O'Brien and O'Brien Motorsport has pretty much everything you need. Stocks it and brings it to the track. Murray Motorsport as well have a kit, about $3,000 plus VAT for the parts you need to build the cars. And then you need your Toyo, of course, 888 tyres. Practice start there from Cody Keogh to try and get his front tyres up to temperature. So as we said, just 4 cars. We're expecting Jack Files and we're expecting Luca Mullins to join us shortly as well. They've all been testing. Away they go. Good start from everyone there. Holly Dunyan just gets ahead of Marmion, but it looks like she missed second gear as we went by there. She did. She was well ahead, but dropped her back slightly. He's alongside now. He's on the inside. Cody Keogh down the outside, there's almost contact. Travers goes back at him on the brakes now and takes it back. And nothing Cody Keogh could do about that one there. Just get great stuff from Travers. He had to do it. He was looked like he was going to lose his lead there, but he went back really late on the brakes now as they went down into turn 1. And Travers leads, Cody Keogh second, Marmion in third place, and Holly Dunyan there in fourth place too. Out they go to turn 3, and a big run from Cody Keogh through the first apex. Travers not looking ruffled at all though, as they head through turn 3 now and back up the hill. Cody Keogh gets a good run on the way back up. He'll be buoyed by that race win earlier on. He absolutely dominated in wet conditions, drove away and was firing the car around the place. Looked so much at home, but Travers is very quick, and in dry conditions he certainly might be able to have the measure of Cody Keogh. Keogh with a great run off the corner there though again, and it doesn't get alongside. This is going to be a good scrap up front. I feel we might have that scrap we saw yesterday for third place as well. They're racing for the Ann Stevens Trophy in memory of the wonderful Ann Stevens, and off goes Travers, a load of understeer, and he goes off to the gravel trap on the outside. Surely he can keep it going here. He's going to rejoin. He's going to lose a place or two. Indeed he has. He's back to fourth place now because Marmion goes by, and Holly Dunyan now right on Marmion's bumper. She's beginning to move around in his mirrors. So great scrap for what has now become second place. Has he gone in really late in the brakes? No, I think Holly's just a little bit early on the brakes, still getting her, well, that's where she had the rotation, isn't it, on the warm-up lap. But she cost herself a little bit of time there. Holly back on the power. Travers third. Cody Keogh now leads, and Travers has to get back by these guys and lady if he's going to get back up there. So Marmion now in second place, Holly Dunyan in third, and David Travers in fourth place as they come through Bahrain's bends, through the left, the right, and then the left. Then down to the long left-hander. Holly Dunyan with the Mondello Park scholarship car right in her way. She's not going to get out of the way though. She turns in nice and early. No gap there for Travers to get by. It'll have to be a dive, I would imagine, up into the final corner. He has a look on the inside here, but Cody Keogh now away. The two O'Brien, the silver O'Brien cars out front. And Holly Dunyan not giving it away, but the door's open here. I think Travers should take a dive. He does. Oh, Holly locks the back brakes. She goes in as late as she can. They thought there was a problem with the car locking the back brakes. There's obviously something up there because that almost looked like she jabbed the handbrake there on the brakes. But she had a go at holding them off. So Travers moves back up to third place. Marmion, Travers and Dunyan now in this scrap for second place. Cody Keogh is leading this one. But it's all about the battle for second now as Travers has to close down Luke Marmion. Holly Dunyan trying to hang on. She's certainly closer to the boys than she was in the wet conditions earlier on. But I think there's definitely a problem with the back brakes on that car. That could explain the lack of pace perhaps in the rain, because that doesn't look too comfortable. You don't want back brakes locking like that, and that looked a little bit unsettled. She had to put on a little bit of opposite lock to hang on to it into the final corner. So Marmion now trying to stay ahead of David Travers down into turn 3. Travers down the inside. Those Marmion goes a little bit wide and takes that place back on the way up the hill. Holly using all the curbs on the exit there, trying to stay with these two as they come down into Bridgestone corner, the off-camber left-hander. Travers almost cocking a rear wheel. He's back up to second place now, but he's going to have to go some to catch Cody Keogh, who was 4.6 seconds up the road the last time they went around. So here they come, second, third and fourth up the hill. That's Holly Dunyan, the Carter, her first motor race weekend. I'd never driven the track until Friday afternoon. These other guys have done the rest of the season. And she's off in the background. Holly's just over-committed. She's gone off out onto the gravel. She's managed to keep it going, though, and rejoined at the top of the screen. Here we go, 27 rejoining. Just wouldn't turn in there on the exit. The exact same as happened to David Travers early on. So it's obviously still very, very slippery on the turn-in for Lola Corner. So unfortunately, that spread them all out just a little bit. Travers in second place. Let's see if he can do a good set. He has done a purple sector. Travers, he's got some pace here. He's done a 52.8 as opposed to a 53.4 in one of the sectors. Quicker than Cody Keogh, a lot quicker than Cody Keogh. So the blood's up here for David Travers in the James Travers Motors and Mondello Park scholarship car. Cody Keogh right out onto the curb. He needs to keep that up. The gap was 4.6 seconds, but Travers is quicker around this lap. I think he's certainly quicker through two of the sectors. Let's have a look when we get to the start-finish line. Oh, no, fastest lap for Cody Keogh as he goes by a 15.4. His first flying lap, of course. 14.8 for David Travers, well quicker. So 0.6 of a second faster there for Travers this time round. We've got 10 minutes to go. We could close this one down. There's Holly Dunyan going through, recovering from that quick off out the back. So 2:14.820, the fastest lap. Now they've been under the 2:10 mark, so make no mistake, it's not dry just yet out there. But David Travers in greasy conditions, very quick. We saw that in testing on Friday. The Mondello Park car in second place now, closing down the leader. right into the apex there and on the power as early as he can, just trying to control that little bit of understeer as he comes back up the hill. He'll be able to see that car in front of him now. Cody Keogh's confident though and chucks the car down into the S's. First sector, fastest for Cody Keogh. So he's responding here. Right out onto the exit curb. Through the long, long right-hander, roll a corner, right round the outside. A lot of people out there looking for grip all weekend. Cody Keogh making no mistakes, placing the car beautifully, taking loads of curb at 7B there on the way back up the hill. Travers definitely closer. It was the full length of that straight a lap ago, wasn't it? As Cody Keogh comes up, takes the right left. He's trying really hard right in over that inside curb, but I think Travers is still coming at him. We'll see when they get back to the start-finish line. Indeed, he is. Another 6/10 in that second sector for David Travers. He's chopping the lead here. It was 5 seconds though. Still 8 minutes to go. So a lot of work for Travers to do. He's got to keep the head down and keep pushing here if he's going to close this gap. Both using the inside curb and right up to the outside there. So Cody Keogh goes through. 14 dead, fastest lap. Let's see what Travers can do. 13.5, another half a second gone out of the gap now. Travers on a big charge in second place. David Travers down to the first corner, really is taking big lumps out of Cody Keogh's lead at this stage. David Travers again, the back of the car getting a little bit loose between the two apexes as he goes through the first bit and gets off the power to try and stop it for the second bit, but he balances it well. Fastest lap is to him at the moment is 2:13.510 as opposed to a 2:14 dead for Cody Keogh. But Cody Keogh had done a lot in the early laps. Oh, Keogh right out over the exit curb there. They're both trying so hard. The gap was at 4.5 seconds when they went by the start-finish line. But they'll both know what's happening here because Travers will see that silver car getting closer, and I'm sure Keogh in his mirrors will see the black car at Travers coming towards him. If it's half a second a lap, you'll see it in your mirrors. Really does need to respond here, although the gap at 4.5 seconds is still quite a comfortable lead with 6 minutes 59 seconds to go. Apache Tyre Equipment's supported championship now looking a little bit sparse with 4 cars, but as we said, we've got a number of other cars in build. Jonathan Files' son Jack Files has been with us a few times down here at Mondello Park. We have a test car. If you're between 14 and 16 and you want to have a go on the test car here at Mondello Park, just get in touch with us through the ICCR website or call Mondello Park. And if you want to go racing, we can help you out with that. 14 to 17 years old. You can keep racing when you turn 17, the year that you turn 17, then you have to move up to seniors. But the whole idea is we'll get more drivers for each class here. If we can produce some junior drivers. Oh, Holly Dunnion's pulled in. It's such a shame. Car number 27 pulled in out of the international loop somewhere. She'd just done her personal best. So Travers in second place now, still pushing hard. But let's see if Cody Keogh has responded. I don't think the gap is any smaller than it was. That's just visual. 13.5 for him. 13.2, so just 0.2 of a second quicker that time round as Travers. The gap's at 4.2 now. So Cody Keogh stayed out in front. David Travers again with fastest lap that time round. Luke Marmion is 19 seconds back the road, but still in third place. So Cody Keogh has definitely got the hammer down a little bit, as we said. 13.5 last time round. Only just eclipsed by David Travers. Travers was taking big chunks out of it, not so much anymore. Fastest first sector, in fact, for Cody Keogh there. 4 minutes to go in this one. Cody Keogh right over that inside curb again. Having a real go. Needs to do it. They're very closely matched, this pair. It's pity they're not on track together, but that first lap, or the off for Travers, unfortunately did that for him. The head down again. Fastest second sector to Travers. First one to Keogh. Again, I don't see much of a difference here. It was visual, wasn't it, when he was catching him early on. 3 minutes 57 to go. Cody Keogh leading. David Travers in second place. Keogh goes through. 13.5 that time round. A couple of tenths off as quick as 13.7 for Travers. Slower. First time around a lap that he's been slower than Cody Keogh, so maybe the front tyres passed their best. Down into Bridgestone corner again. Travers still trying so hard, but he's not. I don't think he's making any more inroads. I think Cody Keogh is balancing this one nicely. It's one race all so far. Cody Keogh looking good for this one. It's 2 minutes 20 to run on this one, so another lap after this and that'll be it, I think. Head up the hill, the leader coming back to Bahrain's Benz. There he comes, nothing spectacular. He's not making any mistakes. Right in over that inside curb again. 52. There's our second place man. Gap pretty much static now at about 4.5 seconds. He gets right in there too. Keogh using all the curves, no shortage of commitment. Is Travers slightly closer? Is that just me this time round? Let's have a look when they get up to the start finish line once again. Travers as late as he can be on the brakes there. Let's have a look as they go by. Yeah, similar stuff, isn't it? 2:13.5, 2:13.7, no real difference. That's Marmion we're looking at there, 2:21 last time round for him. Another car built by O'Brien Motorsport. .2:19.8 does his personal best there as the leader comes down into the S's for the last time. Cody Keogh, gap at 4.8 as they cross the line last time round. I think he's safe enough, home and hosed here. I never say that in motor racing, certainly not today at Mondello Park with the track refusing to dry all day. Travers again looks perhaps a little bit closer as they climb the hill. Certainly they can now see each other through the long right-hander. Cody Keogh it is from David Travers. Right in over the curve for the last time. They're both at 7A and B together now, but it's not going to close up before the end of this one. Cody Keogh up the hill, David Travers in second place. Bahrain's Benz for the last time. Right in over the curve as he's done all weekend. It's going to be 2 in a row for Cody Keogh. Back down to the long left-hander now. Up over that inside curve for the final time at Paddock. Travers again within sight, but not within striking distance as they come up. The checkered flag's ready below us. It's going to be Cody Keogh making it 2-1. David Travers won 1 this weekend, and Cody Keogh's going to win his second one. He will be absolutely delighted with this one. Great drive once again. Cody Keogh takes the win. David Travers at second. Fastest lap for Travers on the last lap, 7/10 quicker. 2:13.004. That'll just make him wonder what might have been, but great stuff from Cody Keogh to hang on. But that's a cracking final lap for David Travers in the Mondello Scholarship car. 2:13.004. That brought the gap down from 4.9 to 4.1 seconds on the final lap. There's our winner, Cody Keogh. That's 2 race wins for him this weekend at Mondello Park. There's Luke Marmion down to take the checkered flag. So one more race to go here at the ICCR at Mondello Park. So we'll just take a quick commercial break before we get Formula Boss Ireland back on track.
Well, we've only just announced it, but everybody is talking about this car behind me. It's the Junior Mini Challenge for the ICCR here at Mondello Park. An exciting new saloon car series from 14 to 17-year-old drivers. Lift off, oversteer, bumper to bumper racing. We're going to have it all this year at Mondello Park. It's the new Junior Mini Challenge.
Square left onto loose. Yeah, that's good. Good drive. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Rev it up, rev it up. Go, go. One right, immediately followed by a 5 right. Keep it in, keep it in. Come on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Keep on, keep on, keep on. Come on, come on, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Every day is a chance to make this world your own. Just watch out for those you share it with. My world, my station, my music.
So time for the final race of the weekend here at the Digital Motorsports ICCR. Round 4 live stream coming to you in conjunction with the Beacon Hospital Health Check, of course. Just one round to go after this one, October 1st and 2nd of the ICCR for 2022. Some championships have been decided this weekend. All the rest will be decided at the next meeting here in just a couple of weeks' time at Mondello Park. Meanwhile, it's Boss Ireland, Formula Boss Ireland, out on track. Just heading around to get some heat into these tyres before they get racing. Some very different cars. You can see sports cars and single-seaters out there. Noel Robinson it was who took the win in wet conditions earlier. A lot drier now. They would have been fiddling with setups quite a lot, I'd imagine. Aaron Cochran there in the chrome finished car. Vodafone McLaren replica livery. He was very, very quick in the closing stages of the race. It took him a while to find his feet. Once he did, he was quicker than anybody and had a great race. Aaron Cochran. So he, I think Noel Robinson's going to start this one on pole. I don't actually have a grid, but I'll see them when they come down in just a minute's time. They come towards us. It's the same two F3 cars, isn't it? Warming their tyres indeed. I do have a grid. It's Noel Robinson on pole position, Tony Greenan alongside. Then Aaron Cochran and Michael Roach to the four Formula 3 cars taking up the first two rows of the grid. Then Jonathan Files. Do we have Jonathan Files? I don't think we do. In fact, we're missing a few cars here. Daniel Faherty. It's like calling a roll in school, isn't it? Osloher, I think. Rob King, we do see there, a very distinctive car, the beautifully wrapped Radical, the Digital Motorsports car. And Michael Connolly in the other Radical, we see him coming down to the grid. Gary Graham, I do see, and Tom Cochran, I do see, and just coming around the top corner now is what looks like Daniel Faherty and Eamon Matheson, so they're out there. And Roland Doherty is in the pit lane, so he's obviously going to do a pit lane start, as indeed is Donald Griffin. So, okay. The starter waiting until everybody's in place. Eamon Matheson is still moving at the back. The 5-second board has gone up. Eamon not in a grid position. Lights are on and out. Away they go. A couple of really good starts. Michael Connolly, Tom Cochran gets a better one, and Michael has nowhere to go. But down the outside, is that Michael Roach? I think it is. Oh, big lock up to hold him off by. Is that Robinson or is it Greenan? I think it's Greenan. Let's have a look as they go through Campion corner and out onto the back straight. Mick Roach certainly in second place. Greenan it is. Tony Greenan leading this one. So Aaron Cochran in third and Robinson back to fourth place. Then it's Faherty. Then it's Connolly. Then it's Tom Cochran. So Aaron Cochran looking good in this one. You see, we said very strong in the early race. If you can get by Mick Roach here, I wonder can he have a go? And that's exactly what he's looking to do. Mick Roach stands on the loud pedal and gets a little bit of opposite lock on. Car wobbling around under him, and he doesn't allow Cochran to take that place off him just yet. A lot of machinery heading up the hill behind. Oh, he's got out of shape again. Cochran's got up the inside. Job done. See you later. He's got that move. Mick Roach really trying hard though in the slightly older car there. The 06 car. Cochran gets through, then Mick Roach, and look at Connolly and the Radical down the inside, has to back out of it there, no room from Noel Robinson, just he's more interested in chasing those F3 cars up front than fighting off a Radical from behind. So here they come through the right, through the left. Connolly looking very good in the Radical in the early stages here, he got a rocket-like start off the line as well, but out in front it's a massive, massive lead now for Tony Greenan in this one. Greenan already gone through. This is second, third, fourth and fifth we're looking at. Robinson looking to get by Roach now down the outside. Is he going to switch back to the inside? Straight line, there mightn't be much in it. Roach happy to sit there. In fact, Roach's car every bit as quick in a straight line. Stays to the inside though, doesn't let Robinson round him. So Robinson's got to have another think about that as they come out of Max's corner and through Campion now, heading down towards turn 3. Rob King just going through shot there in the Digital Motorsports Radical as well. Tony Greenan was leading by 6.1 seconds at the end of the first lap. That's incredible stuff. Robinson has a look down the inside. Roach covers it. Belch of flame from Robinson's car as he gets off the power and back on. He gets a good run on the way out though and gets alongside, but Roach once again hangs on. But later on the brakes as Robinson tries to sit round the outside, but it's hard to turn in. It's still a little bit greasy, but he does it. Nice move right round the outside. The Radical looking to go with him now as they climb the hill towards Lona corner. There's Rob King right out to the outside. The Radical problem for Donald Griffin there in the Reynard. Ex-Noel McIntyre car, and around goes Noel Thompson. Full 360 spin for him. It's been greasy there all day long. We saw a couple of the junior minis having trouble there as well. Once again, the Radical very quick through 7A and B, trying to get down the inside of Roach, and Tom Cochran much more comfortable with the car in these dry conditions in that black JPS livery car, going much better. And Connolly's got by Roach down. Roach dropping back into the clutches perhaps of the black car of Tom Cochran. Greenan finishes another lap. Way ahead of anyone else, as we said. The Radical well up there now. Robinson at the top of your screen having dropped way back. Rob King getting into his stride with the Radical as well and starting to go nicely. He hasn't got much experience in this car. Runs, works for trackdays.ie and indeed Digital Motorsport. I think I see a black flag below me. Maybe they're just tucking the flags away for the night. Yeah, I think they are just putting the flags away, thankfully. It's coming to the end of a race day. So the gap 11.1 seconds now. Tony Greenan has out front. Aaron Cochran in second place, and Michael Connolly, Michael Roach, Tom Cochran, Rob King, Noel Robinson, Daniel Faherty, Roland Doherty, and Gary Graham. The order in this one. Nobody touching Tony Greenan. Fastest lap 43.890, 143.890, 48.8 for Aaron Cochran. It's exactly 5 seconds a lap slower. 52 for Michael Connolly. So really in a class of his own, and this one is Tony Greenan so far. As Tom Cochran closes down, Michael Roach now Tries to get up the inside between 7A and B and gets it done. Not sure if Roach didn't fight that one back too much. I wonder if he got a slight problem with that car. Oh, he's still staying right under the back wing of that car as he comes back up towards us. Noel Robinson just about inching up towards them as well. And Rob King not too far away in the Radical Super Sport. Robinson down the inside of Roach now with a lunge. And Rob King will be looking for a bit of that as well. Starting to go really nicely in that Radical. Robinson thinking about a look down the inside of Tom Cochran. Tom not having any of it, chops across his bows. Robinson gets a great run on the way out though, but the big car every bit as quick in a straight line. Quicker perhaps. Here's Aaron Cochran, he's in second place. Paul's lap time's down a little bit, but nowhere near the leader still. Absolutely in a class of his own is Tony Green in here. Aaron Cochran in second place. Second place man we're looking at there now, Aaron Cochran, that Vodafone car. Out on the international loop should be our leader, Tony Greenan. Already well down the international loop. Huge lead. Cochran goes through a little pool of water. There's Michael Connolly in third place. Long time since we've seen a sports car up so far in Formula Boss Ireland. There's Aaron Cochran, second place in the final corner. Southside Motor Factory's corner. Next one will be the Radical of Michael Connolly. Here he is going really well, it's got to be said. Are we going to see a safety car? Safety car looks like it's getting ready to go. I don't see a safety car sign below me. There isn't one actually just yet. And if there's an incident, it's out of my view. But certainly the safety car driver is keen to... Looks like he's being dispatched, doesn't it? Lights are flashing and he's at the exit of the pit lane. Rob King is up in place. Oh, there we are. It's Robinson again. It is safety cars being dispatched. Noel Robinson's off, coming into the S's. Bad day out for Noel Robinson after such a good strong run earlier. It's his second off of the day. He's parked in the gravel on the entrance to Bridgestone Corner on the outside, and probably safety car will have to be used because it's going to be difficult. Well, you certainly couldn't keep racing with that car facing that direction and exactly where it is, just in the firing line as the cars come back up from turn 3. So the order is Tony Greenan in the Dallara F317, Aaron Cochran in the Dallara F307, Michael Connolly in the Radical SR8, Tom Cochran also showing in an SR8, but that's is it a GP2 car or a World Series? I'll find out. Then it's Rob King in the Radical SR3 1500cc as opposed to the 2.7 of Michael Connolly, Michael Roach in the Dallara F306, Daniel Fardy in the Dallara F3, Gary Graham in the Formula Renault, Roland Doherty, who was in the pits but I think is back running again in an F399 Dallara. There's the BMW Ireland safety car looking to pick up the leaders, and that will just kill Tony Green in 16-second lead. But there's nobody lapping within a couple of seconds of him anyway. His last lap was a 44.7. Now Aaron Cochran has been down to a 46.5, but it will give Aaron Cochran an incentive. It'll get him right up to the back of Tony Green, and I would imagine. Although the safety car is still searching for the leaders. Hasn't found them just yet. So that's Roland Doherty, who they've caught. They're waving him on because it's the leader they're looking for. We don't want any Michael Massey situations here. They want to hook up with the leader. Here comes there's the leader right behind them, so good job. Robinson already out of the car. He'll be back in. Marshall's telling him to get back in. He'll be towed out of there in a moment. I'm sure one of the snatch vehicles will be with him very shortly. Tony Green will be going, oh no, I just blitzed everybody. 15 seconds up the road, 25 seconds up the road, and a safety car. Well, it's just him and the safety car at the moment. Nobody else has arrived just yet. Aaron Cochran, there he is though, coming up the hill. Is that Aaron Cochran? I think it might be. Well, he'll be going. If it's Aaron Cochran, he'll go, right, let's have a go at this. Just 5 minutes to go, but they'll still surely get a lap. It is. There's Aaron Gocker behind them, both weaving around. It's going to be a sprint to the flag if they do get a run. I suspect they will. So this will be interesting. Safety car just neutralising the race. It brings everyone down to a lower speed so the obstacle can be removed. Marshals are with that car now, but they certainly can't push it out. It will need a snatch unit. The red flags are out. The race has been stopped. Red flags are out. The race has been stopped. So it's calling to Roland Doherty to actually stop on the grid there. So red flags. Safety car will lead the rest of the cars round, no doubt. So the snatch unit being sent around the track to reverse into the gravel. They would have had to stop the race to do that. You couldn't have a vehicle pulling another car from the depths of the gravel trap in the opposite direction to the race. So the red flags would have had to come out for that one. Not sure if we'll go again. There was 4 minutes 39 seconds to go when we stopped it, so I'll wait to hear whether we will be restarting or not. Teleporter there as well. It's obviously well ensconced in the gravel there. Now the marshals are saying they don't need the teleporter. They can get it out by towing it. They're happy about. Michael Roach's team looking to change the tyres there, or one tyre. More than one by the look of it. Robinson car finally coming out of the gravel trap there. So it looks like they're going to try for a restart. 5 minutes to go, yep. Yeah, they are putting wets onto that car. That's interesting stuff. So obviously he thinks the wets is the way to go, or the car wasn't handling on slicks, but he's just changed that those tyres. It's not a bad job. It was done pretty quickly. And they had a fourth wheel, which is better than the Ferrari Formula 1 team. So good stuff. Roach may be able to take this restart on wet tires. Is that an advantage? I'm not so sure. But he's been out there and I haven't. That's interesting. So Carswell has to be restarted. It's going to be a sprint race, so all the good work done by Tony Greenan is undone. Looks like we're going to have a 5-minute race. The cars are being restarted. Noel Robinson's car is being towed back in, as you can see, across Rallycross 2, across a gravel section, then heading back towards the paddock. There's the Robinson car just being towed back in. So timekeeper's just giving me a sheet there. It's a 4-minute race, we're told. And the grid will be Tony Greenan on pole position. Aaron Cochran alongside him. And Michael Connolly. And Tom Cochran. Michael Roach, who needs to get back to the grid. He's still in the pit lane. You can see him there on your screen, the middle of your screen. Needs to get out onto the grid. And Daniel Faherty, he's still there, indeed he is. And Gary Graham, Roland Doherty, Eamon Matheson. We won't have Noel Robinson, we won't have Donald Griffin, and we won't unfortunately have Jonathan Files. So a 4-minute race, a couple of laps, should be interesting. So it looks like the officials have been down there and they're not allowing Michael Roach to change to wets for some reason. So the slicks are going back on. So we're being told a green flag lap and then a 4-minute race. So 1 lap to acclimatise and then a 4-minute race. So Noel Robinson doesn't look like he'll be taking any further part. Helmet off. Mick Roach does look like he's going to take further part in this one. Sure what the delay is here. You heard you a restart, as we said. 1 green flag and 4 laps is what we're being told. They're still gridding them up. So 2 F3 cars, straight shootout for these guys. Tony Green, which no doubt feel hard done by, but that's the nature of it when you get a red flag. Aaron Cochran given a second chance here. We saw how quick he can be this morning. Noel Robinson out of the equation, but Mick Roach will start from the pit lane, 46. See him on the right of your screen there. So pit lane being cleared, siren blowing. Waiting for the green flag. Now all the cars are running. Start is just waiting for the nod from race control. Listening to his earpiece. Green flag's going to be waved. There it is. Not the race. This is just the formation lap or the warm-up lap. The Roach joining to the pit lane. Roland Doherty a little bit slow off the grid, but he gets going, number 8. So it's not an amalgamated result as far as I know. It's all down to this 4-minute dash. They're all weaving around, trying to get a little bit of heat into their tyres. Very, very important here, because they're not going to have any time to heat them up in the race, really, are they? 4 minutes. It's going to be a couple of laps. Tony Greenan leads them out. So out onto the international extension that we're using this weekend. We're back to the national in a couple of weeks' time for the final round of the ICCR. And this is the final race of round 4. So here we come for the final race of the weekend. It's going to be a very short one. You can read the clock there right in the centre of your screen. 4 minutes to go. Wonder can Michael Roach make up any places from the pit lane start. Start is going to be crucial here. Greenan on pole position. Alongside him is Aaron Cochran. 5-second board is up. Watch out for the second row. 2 really quick starters. Tom Cochran and Michael Connolly. Not that quick, Tom. That's left sitting, and Michael Connolly's going to take the lead from the Radical Izzy. He does. See you later, F3 cars. I'm heading down towards turn 1. What a start from the Radical. The two boys were just going wheel to wheel, looking at each other, and he just drove down the outside of them both. I wonder, can he possibly hang on? I don't think so in the Radical. The F3 car should surely be a lot quicker, but what a start from Michael Connolly here. Oh, sideways stuff, a big wobble from Green, and that cost him the place. He stood in the power really early coming out of Campion, and just cold tyres, got a big tank slapper on, and the Radical is leading this one, and it's a 4-minute race. I wonder, can he pull off a big upset here and have a Radical win a boss race? Here he comes down towards Bridgestone corner. Absolutely super stuff from Michael Connolly. He is absolutely flying here. Second place is Aaron Cochran, and the F3 car should surely have the legs of the Radical round here, but he hasn't got much time to do it, and that Radical is not slow. Michael Connolly now up at a few specks of rain coming down again, up at Lola corner. Oh, and again the F3 car is struggling for grip on cold tyres. The Radical looks a lot more composed, and it's not slow in a straight line as Michael Connolly heads down towards 7A and B. Has he gone in a bit deep? He is gone in a bit deep, and he's gone wide. There's no grip out there by the look of it. These guys all struggling, but then again a big armful of opposite lock for Cochran. He's not exactly motoring up to the back of the Radical. We would expect him to be quicker, maybe next lap round. 2:40 to go, so will they have one lap after this? I think that's all they'll have. I think Michael Connolly might be in with a chance here. He almost deserves it after that start. An absolute belter off the line. We might have a look at that start again if we get a chance. Really impressive stuff from Michael Connolly and the Radical. But Aaron Cochran now trying to get up behind him, just trying to get a bit of heat into the tyres and use the F3 where it works. But certainly that Michael Connolly is going superbly in the SR8 Radical up to the final corner. And still leading now at the end of lap 1. It's beginning to rain again, as you can see on the camera lens. There's somebody waving him on furiously from the pit wall. He doesn't need it, does he? He doesn't need to be waved on. He knows the gap at the end of lap 1 was 3.3 seconds. 1:57 to go. They might get another lap after this one, you know. 1:52 to go. They will get another lap after this one. So the F3, although he's still streaking away, they're just not catching him here. He was 3 seconds faster. 3.396 was the gap at the end of the first lap. But there's definitely rain coming down again. I don't know whether that's good or bad for him. Most of them on slicks. It looks like it's good. He's leaving the F3 car sitting. I don't think he's going to be caught. Michael Connolly, what a drive. The upset of the weekend in Formula Boss Ireland. Looks like the F3 cars are going to take a hiding at the hands of a two-seater Radical sports car. Yeah, a couple of slippery surface flags. Here he comes, our leader now heading up the hill for a little bit of excitement in the last race of the weekend. Michael Connolly from a standing start just blasted by the F3 cars down the outside, got on the brakes, managed to get turned in, and now is rocketing away. I wonder, he's hardly on wets, is he? He's driving away from these F3 cars, and it's definitely raining again. I can see it on the windows here in the commentary box. You can see it on some of the camera lenses, but that gap is absolutely massive. So the starter watching the times here below us, but I think they will get another lap. 48 seconds to go. They should well be back at the start-finish line before that, unless the officials decide to truncate it a little bit slower, a little bit earlier, I should say. But no problems at all. Not getting out of shape. No opposite lock. Very composed stuff from Michael Connolly. Here's the two F3 cars, but they're way back. They look like they're struggling, don't they? Whereas that Radical is on rails. It's Connolly, Cochran, Greenan, Tom Cochran, Daniel Faherty, Roland Doherty, Rob King, Michael Roach, Eamon Matheson and Gary Graham was the order when they went by the last time. The checkered flag is almost being prepared. No, it's been put away below us. They're going to get another lap. They're definitely going to get another lap. 10 seconds to go. 7, 6, 5 seconds to go, and he gets another lap. But he's okay. I thought he'd get caught by the F3 cars. No way. Look at them struggling for traction on the way out of the final corner, and they gap out to 7.2 seconds. Fastest lap is 1:56.276 for Michael Connolly. So Michael Connolly looking very strong on this, the final lap. So closing stages, as we said, and there's our leader. This is great stuff. Really, really good start, as we said, and he hasn't put a foot wrong, and he's easing away every lap. Purple sector is coming up there. The gap at 7.2 seconds last time round. I'd say it's more now. In fact, as Aaron Cochran comes around the left-hander, he can just see the back wing, perhaps, the Radical negotiating Lola corner and disappearing even further away into the distance. You got a feel for Tony Greenan, who had dominated this race before it was stopped. He was way up the road, but not so much anymore. Here's our leader, Michael Connolly. You can see him working inside the car, right down into it. See his hands on the steering wheel. 2.7 litre radical to the right hand, back to the left hand corner. This has been a great drive in this shortened restart. Absolutely putting the F3 cars away. Here he comes for the last time to the long left-hander. Just 2 corners between him and a Boss Ireland victory. Who would have expected that? The checkered flag is ready for the final race of the weekend below us here. It's great stuff from Connolly as he comes up to the final corner. Southside Motor Factories for the final time. A little bit of a weave on the brakes, down through the gears, turns in beautifully, gets to the apex, piles on the power, and a Radical is about to win a Formula Boss Ireland race at Mondello Park. The pit wall goes mad, the checker flag is waved, and he punches the air. What a drive from Michael Connolly. Fastest lap on that, the final lap, 156.110 despite the rain falling. Aaron Cochran takes second, and Tony Greenan just about gets enough traction to get to the line. The car weaving around in third place. I'm sure he'll feel a little bit hard done by that, but that's what happens in motorsport when a car parks. Somebody's gone off in the last lap. It's a big one there. It's Daniel Fardy. She was trying to have a go at Tom Cochran. Daniel Fardy just went straight around, kept it pinned. He's fine. He'll get it going again, but that's handed a place to Roland Doherty, who's going nicely. Got to be said, Roland going well in this restart. Tom Cochran takes fourth. Roland Doherty right on his back wing, and Rob King goes through there too. And Daniel Fardy. And it's Roach. In fact, Roach will pip Fardy to the line. That's him going through. And here's Daniel Fardy after that big spin. No damage. Coming down to complete the order. So fantastic stuff from Formula Boss Ireland. So there you go, ladies and gents, the official results of that one. Michael Connolly incredibly takes the win in the Radical SR8. Aaron Cochran is second, Tony Green in third, then Tom Cochran, Roland Doherty, Rob King, Michael Roach, Daniel Fardy, Eamon Matheson and Gary Graham. So great little bit of excitement there with a 4-minute restart to end us out on a great weekend of racing. It's been tough for the officials, the starters, those guys there and girls, the marshals, but we've had some great racing over the 2 days. It's been absolutely fantastic. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and thank you very much to the Beacon Hospital Health Check for allowing us to stream these races live, and of course to Digital Motorsports for partnering with the ICCR. We'll be back in just a few weeks' time for more information on Mondello Park, or the cars you can drive down here, mondellopark.ie. For more information on the ICCR series, if you want to go racing, just click on ICCR.ie and any of the classes or start racing. It'll show you how to get your license, show you what you have to do, it'll give you more information on any of the classes. Anything else, just send an email into info@ and we'll get back to you, of course. And we'll be back here in a couple of weeks' time for the final round of the 2022 ICCR at Mondello Park.